It feels like the higher up you go in positions of power, the fewer rules there are. Like Supreme Court justice, you don't have to be a lawyer. Anybody can be on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Man, this is funny.
No, that's
anybody. I mean, Trump is president. Anybody can be president.
Mm-hmm. This is maybe the most valid point that Big T has ever made.
Also, Arian, I forgot how dirty they did you in draft day. They made you an assaultant.
They what?
They made you an assaulter.
Hey, ran up on me. You know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, coach? You know what I'm saying? Just stand there?
Hands are still
you know what I'm saying? No, I ain't going to stand there.
Your hands are still fine.
Charges got dropped. You know what I mean? Because, as you can see, it was self-defense. So, I was in the right.
Terry Crews had your back.
Mm-hmm.
It's draft day today.
Oh my God, it is.
As this is coming out. And so Mad Dog was talking about the classic film, 2013?
15.
2015?
14.
Classic draft day. Go watch it right now. I do try to watch it once a year, or at least look at it once a year. How do you feel, Chaps, that your Jags were portrayed in that film?
I never saw it.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, you should. Actually, it's probably for the best that you don't. The Jags, they get bent over barrel.
I mean, it's fair.
Yeah.
At that time, in that period of time.
But it's supposed to be all fair.
In theory.
The NFL made them like submit the script to them, and all the teams, the trades they made had to be fair for them to use the licenses.
I think that they were fair in terms of like the draft value chart.
Yeah.
But in terms of which players were selected, I mean, it was clear that the Browns came out on top.
Yeah.
Cool.
So how did
Ray Jennings was in that bitch?
Tell me about your character again. So your character had got in trouble for assault?
That's the first thing you want to bring up, huh? Not my first round draft pick status. You just want to talk about the negative?
Well, are we talking about the real draft or draft day?
I was talking about draft day. I ain't no assaults on the books, though.
Listen, if
that's crazy work.
If anyone doubts Arian's acting ability, the fact that he was able to portray a first-round draft pick is a big feather in your cap. Like, I believed it. They did not typecast for your role in draft day.
But when you watched it, jokes aside, when you watched it, you ain't get a little emotional when I hugged Terry Crews on some like, go ahead, boy. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm gassing the boys up. I think that Arian did a great job. Your acting performance in draft day was really good.
It's good stuff, man. I had a knack for it. Ivan Reitman, I think I told this on this podcast, but Ivan Reitman, R.I.P. I think he made that. It's a famous movie that white people love, man. Animal House, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyway, famous director pulled my manager to the side. He was like, "Yo, hey, listen, I've been doing this a long time. You make sure that kid does this shit. He can do this shit." And I was like in the midst of like really pursuing it, but I just lost all care for that. But it was good times, man. It's good times. Great times. Met Kevin Costner.
That might have been his last project he did without horses.
He had a thoroughbred horse though, too. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Ray Jennings, baby.
I can't believe you didn't get a Ray Jennings jersey.
They gave me one.
Oh, really? Do you?
Yeah.
I thought you said you didn't have it.
I don't have it, but they gave me one. I don't have
That'd
it.
be a great one,
brother.
for
If you was to look at my house,
tremendous.
if you was to break into my house, you like, there's no way an NFL football player used to live here or an ex-NFL. There's no memorabilia. I have nothing, like except for this. These right here, and for people that listen, it's like a little figurine of my high school, college, and pro. It's like a little bobblehead thing. Other than that,
That's cool.
I have nothing football in my house.
Well, you got the pile of jerseys somewhere.
That's in my closet underneath. It's in like a hidden room.
Yeah.
You have to go underneath like a staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't have any. I don't know.
The Ray Jennings jersey would be a great one to wear, though. You should try to find it one day.
I mean, I'm positive about it. It's not in this house.
I'll take you to Jim and Steve's in Waukegan, Illinois. They got a great frame job up there. We'll get all those framed.
That's going to cost a penny. I got like probably 50, 60 jerseys. That should
All right, hang on. I can tell you.
I'm
I
not.
got one
I'm
frame.
not sure if I want. That shit's gonna be a nice little check that I don't want to cut.
Yeah, it's
Framing
not cheap.
is one of those things where it's way more expensive than you think it's going to be.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
How much was yours?
Brandon got me a signed Ronald Acuna jersey as like a gift for all the TikToks we did last year, and the frame was more than double the price of the jersey
Yep.
because I bought
Checks
the frame. But it's a sick frame. They put like pictures of Ronald and stuff in there.
Yeah, they do great jobs. It's just like if I do this, it's gonna be like easily 50, 60 grand. Maybe even.
No. It was way less than that.
No, I'm talking about.
You're
I'm talking
thinking
about
museum
if I do
class.
all my jerseys.
If you do 50 at Jim and Steve's, that's 18 grand.
Really?
They might give you a
They
bulk
look sick,
discount
though.
though.
Yeah, and yeah.
Doing
But see,
18.
that's another thing. I don't have anywhere to hang them up. Like, well, I'm not gonna put them in my room. That shit corny, bro. Like, you
You don't have like a bonus room or anything in there?
Bonus room. I like that. This is my bonus room.
Well, that's a common phrase.
I've never heard that before.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You've never heard of a bonus
No,
room?
have you heard of bonus room?
I have a room in my house that's referred to as the bonus room.
Yeah,
Really?
That's very common.
I've never heard
What
it.
is a bonus
I
room?
like it.
It's like maybe you have a couple TVs like a man cave ish.
Not big enough to be like a living room, but just smaller enough. Like we have our bonus room is like we use it as a library, but it's too
Okay.
small to be a library.
Nerd.
So
Right.
it's like on the main floor.
Yeah.
Bonus room. I like that.
Yeah,
Here's an additional room that we
I actually have a bonus room about what you're describing. It's not big enough to really be anything. I built it out or I renovated it so like my kids can play video games in it. So it's literally just like not studio chairs, like movie theater chairs and a big screen, and they hook up the PlayStation to it. But those fuckers never play the games in there. They always hook it up to my big TV in my living room. So I'm thinking about turning it into a golf simulator.
Oh, sick. I think I'm currently in the process of getting totally hosed on a frame job of my own. Right now, actually, this week.
what's
Okay?
that?
Call them
So
out.
I've got one piece of art. Well, I don't want to call them out just yet because I don't know. We'll see where this goes.
You low-key are doing it right now. But
I'm not gonna. I got one piece of art, and it was from my grandfather, and so he passed it down to my mom and dad. And then when my mom moved out after my dad passed, they had that one piece of art, and my mom was like, "I don't have room for this anymore. Would you want it?" And I said, "Absolutely, I would want it." So it's pretty big. It's a mural essentially. It's I think 8 feet long
Oh wow.
and maybe 4 feet tall.
That's the size of plywood.
Yeah,
That's
it's
tall
big.
too.
It's big. That's very funny. So I go to the frame store, and it's a pretty big frame store. And I say, hey, I've got this really big thing that I need to have framed. I know it's huge. I know you guys mostly do normal size art installations. Could you do a frame for this? And they're like, yeah, absolutely we could. They quoted me this ridiculously low price for something that big. I think it was $400 to get it framed, that's a fantastic deal for something that big. And so I said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. So then they came to my house, and I had to make a special trip home during the day because I had this piece of art that was like bundled up and stored safely that I had to help carry down the steps with the driver to get into the car. We load it up, they take it away, and then I get a call from the frame people, and they're like, yeah, it's at our warehouse. I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. And I was like, what? What do you mean? They're like, it's just so big. Yeah, I know. I told you what the dimensions of it were when we met in person to discuss this. Like, yeah, I don't know if we have the ability to do something that big. So now they've got my piece of art that they're kind of holding hostage. So I'm going to go out there, I think, tomorrow to the warehouse. But I am fully anticipating them being like, yeah, you know what? In our system, it forgot to add a 0 to the quote that we gave you. So if you want to get it back, and
We're gonna have to add a 0.
And now my other option is I just arrange for them to take it back to my house, and then I load it back up off the truck, take it back upstairs, and it just sits in that room in the same packaging until I can find somebody else to do the job.
And that'll be probably until you die.
That'll probably be until I die. Like, I'm doing my best to get this thing framed. Doing my best. Like, getting this thing packed up and transported across the country was hard enough as it is. I've done so many steps, and now I'm at the final gate, and I feel like they're about to screw me.
Dude, we had the same kind of thing happen. My wife's grandfather built a kitchen table, and it's like important to her, like to my wife. I'm not sentimental about shit like that, but she is. And so we had to pay to get it shipped from Mississippi up here. And when it finally got here, the guys that were loading it in, like they were going to put it in our basement. They bring it into the house. There's not a chance in fucking hell that thing. And it is enormous, like an estate type table. There's no chance it's going in the basement. So then it sat in our bonus room. It was like that essentially became the table room for like the first 8 months that we were here.
The table room.
Yeah.
I had to call somebody to come to the house to take it out. They brought it to their big facility, had to cut off all the legs and then put like where you could screw the legs on and off. And then they finally got it down. It was like a legit 7-8 month process to get a table into the basement.
That is intense.
Antiques are the worst.
And you got to take it apart.
Yeah.
That whole thing. And then, but it was like a family table that was built by hand. And so you feel bad taking it apart.
And the worst part, it's ugly.
It's a bad table.
It's not even made well. Like,
oh, no.
When I got there, I looked at it, and because I did a little bit over COVID, like some handiwork and carpentry.
Yeah.
So when I looked at it, I was like, this is not even built. Like, you used fucking nails.
Are you going to get in trouble for saying that?
I told her to her face, and she was like, doesn't matter. Well, maybe for the mocking voice, I'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't look the best. It's the thought. And I'm like, well, it does when it's enormous. Like,
yeah.
It's huge. It's a big part of the basement, but it holds a whiskey cup like any other, I guess.
Yeah, it's rustic.
Sure. It looks like
let's go with that.
Somebody took, like, the top of it is slatted, so it looks like somebody just took pretty nice fence and made it into a table.
I love owning a house. It's fantastic. All the stuff that breaks down, dishwasher
Yeah,
broke down the other day.
I just had a thing. So you have to like flush out your water heater like every year?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, not every year. No, that's crazy.
That's what Google said.
Plumbing companies will say that because they want you to have it out every year. Like every 5 years is plenty sufficient.
Yeah, I just found I've never flushed out my water heater, so I got to do that. See, that's the thing about owning a home. When like you the first in your family to ever own a home, nobody tell you how to own a home. So there's so many fucking things, dog, that you have to. It's always something. It's a roof. It's a gate. It's a headache, dog.
But sometimes it's like with that, like with the water heater, like how much are you going to pay for somebody to come out and clean it? Probably $400, $500 for somebody to come do that when you can replace the whole thing for like $1,500.
What happens if you don't clean it out?
I can get dirty at the bottom,
water gets it's hard. You can have hard water and it like builds up like all kind of sediment inside of it.
Yeah.
And Texas is bad about that too. Anyway, that's where you're at, right? Texas?
I am in Texas.
Yeah.
So do you have a basement?
No.
No one has a basement in Texas.
No.
I actually knew one.
Floods here, dog.
No, but I knew one person in Austin that had a nice basement. But it was like a rarity. I think it was like the only house in Austin that had one.
It's just not smart to build a basement here.
Too much limestone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although
Where's
I'm
the
sure
water
there's
table
some
at?
dude off the grid that believes that the world's gonna end, and he has some bunker with a bunch of MREs in there and 70 different kinds of guns.
Mm-hmm.
Sure of it.
The apocalypse bunker. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The voice, by the way, you've heard him. I think I said his name earlier. It's Uncle Chaps. He's joining us today. We're talking Conclave. The Conclave. If you've seen the movie, good for you. But they're doing it in real life too. Viral marketing for the film. Yeah. It's very interesting. I actually just found out, fun fact, you don't have to be a member of the church in terms of like a priest or a bishop or a cardinal. Anybody can become pope.
Any Catholic man.
It's really wide open.
It's kind of like being the Speaker of the House.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just name anybody.
It feels like the higher up you go in positions of power, the fewer rules there are. Like Supreme Court justice, you don't have to be a lawyer. Anybody can be on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Man, this is funny.
No, that's
anybody I mean, Trump is president. Anybody can be president.
This is a
point. See,
maybe the
good
most
point.
valid point that Big T has ever made.
I make a lot of valid.
When
this
did
is
when did this epiphany hit you that the higher up you go, the less?
Well,
rules there
as
are?
as
When
they
did
were saying, like anybody can be the Pope. I was like,
Uh-huh.
I knew you can appoint anybody to be on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, Dave
There's
Portnoy
really-
hasn't written a blog in years, and he's at the top
Right.
at Barstool.
I said him.
Yeah, no. Once you get in the top position, once you're top cat, the rules are what you say they are.
that? Interesting. You use cat there.
Why is that?
You draw your own conclusions.
Or you're saying that I'm a cat guy now?
No, I said. You said once you're the top cat. Because a guy, you said top cat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What conclusions are you drawing right now?
I'm not drawing any conclusions. I said it's interesting. You said cat.
I
What
think it's just a
conclusion?
cool-
What conclusion
it's a
you
cool
think I'm
term.
drawing?
I honestly don't know.
Perfect then.
Okay, I'm befuddled. I haven't been this befuddled in a while.
I love that. I love befuddling you.
Yeah. Today's episode, by the way, is brought to you by Steven Singer Jewelers. Mother's Day is coming up, and if you call your mom every day, or if you just call her on special occasions or once in a blue moon, we've got a great gift for your mom. Steven Singer Jewelers wants to help you tell the moms in your life every single day how appreciated they are. He's introducing his brand new limited edition 24 karat gold dipped blue moon rose for Mother's Day. Skip flowers that die in a week. Steven Singer Jewelers' signature gold dipped roses are real. They're real roses that are dipped in real 24 karat gold and guaranteed to last a lifetime. Give her something that she can look at and remember how loved she is all year long. Picture a brilliantly bright blue rose with diamond-like sparkles. It's a forever gift of a real long stem 24 karat gold dipped rose. It's got Steven's full lifetime guarantee. It comes to you in an impressive gift box and your own personalized Mother's Day note. It's a fantastic gift. We've got one of them here. This is the red one. This is the dark red one. The Mother's Day one is blue, which is beautiful. But these are great gifts, and Mother's Day is coming up, and you want to get ahead of it. Don't wait until the last minute. Just take care of it. Future self. We do so many bad things for our future self. Like last night, I went out, I had chicken wings, and that was for my present self. And then I woke up this morning, and I'm like, why did I do that to my future self on a Tuesday night? Do something nice for your future self. Take care of your Mother's Day shopping right now. That way you don't have to worry about it later. You can get it exclusively at IHateStevenSinger.com. Hurry, because these will not be restocked and supply is limited. So if you go to IHateStevenSinger.com, shipping is complimentary. That means free. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com. IHateStevenSinger.com. Chaps, I've been following what you and Donnie have been doing on Drop a Pen.
Mm-hmm.
You guys seem like you're having a great time on that show.
It's very fun.
It's fun watching you have fun.
I've super fucking loved those videos y'all do on Twitter, dog. That shit's
Thanks, man.
funny. Hey, hit
Appreciate
us with something now. Give me
What?
a random like.
Okay, I'll do the one that I did today. What country is the biggest exporter in human hair?
This is problematic, but I'm gonna say. I think it's gonna be like some South Asian. I'm gonna say India.
Got it. Nailed it. Well
Yeah,
done. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yep. Good job.
Pretty good.
There's some racial implications there as to why I know that, but it's all good.
Yeah, like that. I was actually telling some of the other girls up front, Paige and Caitlin and Ella. Ella got it right too, and she was like, "Well, I know that. That's because on all my extensions, it'll say product of India."
Yeah.
And then I would tell her how that process happens a lot of ways, where the hair comes from in India.
Yeah.
Did you know this?
I do
don't know
not.
this.
So they will take.
Well, I didn't. You
Oh, I think I told you
shared
earlier.
some
Yeah.
facts about, yeah.
So they will have like outside of the slums, there'll be like water that's running, and they will collect whatever is not water, and then a lot of times that will be hair, and they will clean the hair from the gutters, and then package it and sell
Hey,
it.
yo,
Gutter hair.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Isn't that gross?
it's like
They
pissing on
do
a spoon
that.
and then eating after. It's disgusting.
they have that, and
pissed on
then
the spoon.
after like restaurant district where they just dump their oil down the gutter, they'll collect that too, and that's a lot of the times that you see oil in the street from like street food. Why people get sick is because it's gutter oil.
I have a pretty like good stomach when it comes to shit like that. Like it doesn't really gross me out. But like talking about hair
Hair, something about
It
hair.
was that in my drain, right? In my drain, in my shower. Like I don't have when I had hair, it used to get clogged up a lot. But every time, then my baby mom stay over, whatever the case may be. Like a lot of shit gets plugged in the drain, and the drain has this thing where you could pull it out.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure everyone does, like a filter.
Yeah.
Every now and then it gets backed up, and when I pull it out, it's just the most disgust. I get the heebie-jeebies. Like I said, I have a solid stomach when it comes to shit like that. But like when it comes to hair and buildup and gunk, dog, I can't with that.
It's like decaying. Like
Yeah.
it's flesh decaying. Like the keratin of the hair is decaying. Like that smell cleaning out a drain is awful.
When you get it in your food too,
Yep.
that's especially gross. If you just start pulling it and it keeps coming out
Mhm.
and out and out and out. Yeah. India, leading exporter of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have another one for Arian?
Oh,
Let's
dude,
see.
I got mine right. Do you?
Okay. Off the top of the dome, let's see. What country has more lakes than the rest of the world combined?
Oh, I got this one.
You got this
Yeah,
one?
you gave it to me, I think, yesterday, right?
Maybe so.
A couple days ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Big T, do you know?
The most lakes?
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna assume it's not us. A lot of
Yeah.
lakes. I don't know. Canada?
Canada. Good job.
Is it real?
Canada
Wow.
has
Good
60% of all the world's lakes are in Canada.
I mean, I figured it has to be a big country.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then, no, how many other, where else? South America, there's lakes. I feel like in Europe, there aren't really lakes like that.
No, there's
There's
a bunch of
lakes.
lakes. Yeah, the Alpine lakes
Why
in
do you think
Switzerland.
there's no lakes in Europe?
Well, they have a lot of rivers.
England has Lake Country or Lake County.
Yeah, I guess UK has lakes.
Yeah.
All right, Arian. Within reason, how many islands? What country has the most islands, and how many would that be?
What country owns the most islands?
Has the most islands? Yeah.
I just Googled this real quick. There are more than 500,000 natural lakes
Yeah, I saw that.
in Europe.
But the United States has 3 million. So
That's a lot of lakes, yeah. I mean,
so 500,000, not really a lot.
that's a lot of lakes, dog.
I mean, not. Europe is about the size of it's bigger than the U.S.
A little bit bigger.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Like just the United States, yes. Not North America, but just the United States.
Are you
yeah.
counting the part of Russia that's in Europe?
Eurasia?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part
You
of
would
it.
have
the
to,
Ural
yeah.
Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, then. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. All right, well, so what was the question again? Sorry, bro. I was thinking about lakes.
What country has the most islands, and how many islands would that be?
Yet. All right, most country has most islands. Country most islands. I have no fucking clue, dog. I'm just gonna go with the. I don't know. I don't even.
I think I have a guess.
What?
I'm going to say Indonesia.
No.
That was going to be my guess as well.
Indonesia is a good guess, especially if it's anything volcano related.
Philippines.
Nope. It is in Europe. It's Finland, and they have 250,000 islands.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How?
Like all the different little kind of like fjord looking shits that are all across.
Ah,
They're all little islands.
the rivers cross and
Yeah.
and cut them off.
Yeah.
There's a conspiracy theory.
Crazy fact about Indonesia, though.
Yeah.
They have more volcanoes than high schools.
That is a crazy fact. That's nuts. What volcano did you go to? I graduated top of my volcano. There's a conspiracy theory that Finland is not real at all.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not a real country.
Is that Putin's theory or?
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ukraine also not real.
Yeah.
It was funny. We were talking with Stavi the other day, and we got into talking about like our favorite teams and how fans, if any of their players get into legal trouble, they just become experts in whatever that field is so that they can justify why that person's actually not that bad of a dude.
Yeah.
And I realized yesterday that like being an Alexander Ovechkin diehard fan, I've had to like think to myself at times like, there were probably some bioweapons labs in Ukraine. Who's to say?
Did you see I think it was the Washington Post had an article when he broke the goal record of like Alex Ovechkin is now the NHL's all-time goal leader. Here's why that's problematic.
I don't think that was in the post.
I think it was.
Was it?
It may have been a different paper.
I have opted out of all Ovechkin Russia discourse. My actual thoughts on the situation that he's put himself in, because he was like one of the founding members of Team Putin, is what he called it back in like 2014. He's got a lot of family over in Russia, and he's like one of their most famous people that is like a global ambassador for the country. If Putin asks you to take a picture with him, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, he knows where your family lives. So you're not going to stick out and be in the United States and be like, fuck that guy, I hate that guy, he's a piece of shit. You're not going to go down that road. You're going to be like, I want to play hockey. I don't want my family to be in trouble. I'm just going to say fucking go along with it.
Was Ovechkin on the team where Putin scored like 13 goals?
No, Ovi would have laid him out. That's where it would have been different. Like, if off the ice, Ovi will take a picture with Putin, but if they had to play together, I think Ovi would just knock his teeth out. Like, on the ice, Ovi has one speed. Also, I want to draft his son Sergey. His son Sergey is going to be a beast in the NHL in like 15 years.
I'd imagine.
Sergey Ovechkin. Remember who told you that first?
I thought you meant Putin. I was like, all right.
He did score, like 7 goals in that one game. But the Finland conspiracy, it says that Finland is not a real country and that there's actually no Finland. Like, there's no landmass at all. The land of Finland does not exist. The space between Sweden and Russia is an empty ocean.
Okay.
And it's not there at all. So it was created during the Cold War between Russia and the West. I don't know where these people come up with this information. Finland very famously killed a bunch of Nazis and a bunch of Soviets. They fought on both sides.
Both sides, yeah.
Of World War II. And there was that one dude, the Finnish sniper, that had like hundreds of confirmed kills. They used to just go up in the snowy mountains in white suits and just chill all day, just greasing enemy soldiers.
Big meth guys, too.
Huge meth guys. But at the time, I think most of the world was probably on one form or another. So during the Cold War, that environmentalism was taking off, and 2 of the main players in the Finland conspiracy were Russia and Japan, and they decided to work together. I am reading this from a post that I found, but I've studied it before. So as early as 1925, Japan and the Soviet Union had secret deals talking about fishing rights, where the Soviet Union would give up a lot of its fishing rights to Japan, but there was no real explanation why they were doing that. They were just being nice. It's like, yeah, you can fish here all that you want. So there were a bunch of treaties that were like handshake deals that they had. And so Gorbachev made trips to Japan before the fall of the Soviet Union, saying how the relations were improving, even when Soviet relations with the rest of the world were getting worse. And they're pretty much saying that Japan can fish in the region of the ocean between Sweden and Russia without worry for environmental repercussions at all. No one's going to expect fishing regulations to be broken in a place where everyone thinks that there's a landmass. So it's just like open season for Japan and Russia to be fishing next to Sweden, and they tell the world, hey, there's a country here, so don't look for our boats.
And the rest of the world's like, okay.
Yeah, it is. It's one of my favorite.
Thanks, guys.
It's one of my favorite theories. So Nokia is the largest Finnish company, and it's also why Japan is the largest importer of Nokia products, despite the fact that very few people own Nokia phones in Japan.
I would have bet my life that Nokia was Japanese.
Is it Nokia or Nokia?
I've said both. I go back and forth. I said Nokia this time, but I have said Nokia.
I just thought that, yeah, my whole life I said Nokia. I didn't know there was Nokia.
So you might ask yourself, what about all the people that live in Finland? I know they had a beautiful prime minister not too long ago. That might have also been in the show Veep, now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, no, she was very attractive.
Oh, she was the party girl, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Was that Finland?
I think that was Finland. She was the prime minister
I know
or
who you're
president
talking
that
about.
would go out and she'd be clubbing until like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
taking pictures with the girls.
she was very attractive, and so was the prime minister of New Zealand.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Finland. Sanna Marin.
What's she up to these days?
I don't know. And wasn't she having an affair like in the prime minister
I bet she was.
house, whatever?
I bet she was. The girl boss.
Yeah.
So you might say, what about all the people from Finland? Do they exist? Do they know that it's a conspiracy, but they all keep their mouths shut. No, the people from Finland, they believe that they're from Finland, but in reality, they are from small towns on either the eastern part of Sweden, the western part of Russia, or the northern part of Estonia.
So Helsinki.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah, but it's not Finland. It's part of Sweden or it's part of Russia. They say, what about Helsinki? It's an enormous city, and that is in eastern Sweden. It's not like the people flying there would notice. I'm going to say some of the pilots might notice.
they would notice. Yeah.
They might notice. And what about everyone else in Finland? There's a lot to it. It couldn't all be made up, you might say. 99% of Finland is forest.
I feel like this is a way better theory before planes.
Yeah, a lot of these theories are almost impeccable before the ability to fly.
Mm-hmm. That should have been the end of flat Earth is flying.
It should have, yeah. Because you could say if you're Christopher Columbus and you're just going to sail west, like just keep going, keep going. It's just a very long flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe you just like flip around the other side and come back on the flat dimension. I don't know. You can feel or like a video game where you walk out of one screen and then you just appear on the other
Like
screen.
Portal.
You portal back. But yeah, once we started to go up in the air,
I'm like low key obsessed with flat earthers. Like, I love watching content about flat earthers, It's just one of the funniest things ever. I can't stop watching it. Debates. I will watch anything flat earth. Shit is funny, man.
yeah.
Can you tell me why I'm just not quite... Why would flying necessarily, if you already believe the Earth is flat, going in a plane, you could fly over a flat Earth, hypothetically.
No, because you could see that there's no gap in between Russia and Sweden.
Oh, but you're specifically talking about the flat Earth, not the Finland.
Yes.
Okay, with flat Earth, if you go up high enough in the air, you can see
If you go into space.
a slight curvature. If you
Even
go-
more so in space, you could see it from you could see it on the water. Like if you're looking at the water. So if you just go up like with a drone, you could see the outline of the circumference.
Okay.
Also, if you
Compromised.
you can fly to other parts of the world, like you can fly to China and go north over the North Pole and then end up in China. The only way to do that would be
Okay. Yeah, that makes
if
sense.
the Earth was round. What about
I wasn't advocating for flat Earth, just to be clear.
you were just asking questions.
Well, I was just curious why. Like, you could fly from Chicago to Nashville. If the Earth was flat, nothing would change.
Correct. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, you know what? I kind of hope that the Earth is flat. I know it's not, but it would be fun if it was. Like let's
Why?
say 15 years from now, science makes an announcement. The top scientist, and he's like, "You got us. We were lying to you the entire time. It was a big plot. Here's all the evidence. Sorry, I'll send myself to jail." That would be a fun day.
Oh yeah.
To like dig into all that shit, having your mind blown, like everything I've been told is a lie. That would be cool.
And then Bryce Mitchell walks out and like, well, who's the dummy now?
Yeah, it'd be great. Like I know it's not true, but a boy can dream.
You really? Yeah.
Some people would say I'm Finnish, and your attack on my people and culture is insulting. This is just like a random Q&A that this person wrote up for themselves. I'm not insulting Finnish people or culture. I don't even deny that there is a Finnish culture. When you have a collective of a few million people identifying as Finnish, then of course there's a culture. I'm simply saying that the landmass of Finland isn't actually there. It doesn't mean there can't be a culture or an identity. Yeah. What about GPS and satellite images, you might ask? It's all manipulated and forged. So, asked and answered. In the parts of Estonia, Sweden, and Russia that are allocated as Finnish zones, the GPS locations are changed to match that of Finland. Satellite images are forged. So they also link to a very helpful map. They're like, this is the true map of Finland. And the map is just like
Empty.
They just
I mean, would it be
photoshopped
empty?
Finland out and then put more water there.
Yeah.
They're like, this is reality. This is what it might look like if they weren't fake.
They switch from a green crayon to a blue one.
Yeah. Oh, have we got any more info about the Joe Biden picture?
No, I haven't seen anything.
So, okay. Chaps, I don't know if you've read about this or seen the discussion online, the discourse regarding the Biden Easter photo.
I'll say this: I will never pay attention to anything Joe Biden related whatsoever.
Yeah, not by choice. It was Big T's topic of the day that we had on Monday. So we looked at it because there were a lot of people that were saying he looks photoshopped in it. I was of the mindset that I don't see why he would do a Photoshop if it made him look that awkward in the picture. Like, just don't release a picture on Easter. It was a weird picture. Like, his pose was strange.
So you haven't seen it?
I saw the pic very briefly. I saw that there's some guy that they're saying is hot. Like one of his, he has a hot. Like,
Arian called it.
Mm-hmm. So it's
good looking man.
It was fun to discuss online for a day. I don't think that it's fake, but
I think you had to. They need to lean into it and just Photoshop that pose into everything. That they need to lean into it.
Yeah, you have to capture the moment there.
Oh, I see the Democrats. They starting to lean into trolling, like the White House is doing. The Democrats handle.
Yeah.
Who's the dude?
Pete
that's always
Hegseth.
drunk. That's
Pete Hegseth.
about to go.
yeah, Hesketh.
Yeah. So the Democrats tweeted out a picture of like a blurry iPhone, and they said what he said, what he sees, or something like that. Shit was funny, dog.
I think I mean the latest Pete stuff is crazy, but what happened was he fired what he was told were some of the leakers in his department, people that work for him. I think he's like assistant chief of staff or somebody. There were a few people that were fired. And then immediately after they get fired, there's more reports in the news, obviously coming from the people that just got fired that are mad at him. They're like, you don't know the half of it. And so apparently there's going to be more shit that drops this week about what he was doing. But Chap, since we've got you here, is it wrong to have a healthy channel of communication with your wife?
I would say no.
Like, your wife wants to know what's going on. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What'd you do at work today, honey?
Yeah.
Well, here are the strike times for the F-18s.
Listen, I've always said that I could never be president simply because I would be telling my wife all the kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be having a gummy at night, watching Love is Blind or like Love Island, and just telling her all kinds of, like, we're about to fuck Bangladesh up. You have no idea. They're not even going to see it coming.
You ask her for advice, like, which of these planes should I use? Should I use the ones that have the tiger stripes on the side, or just the all black ones? Is it more of a formal airstrike that we're doing?
Yeah.
I get her fashion tips.
Be like, what country are we going to bomb today? Iran. No. Actually, Lebanon.
Yeah.
We're going to bomb Lebanon today.
Yeah. You always mix those up, honey. Yeah, you're right. I do. Yeah, so there's more shit that's probably going to come out because the people that got fired around him. But yeah, doesn't seem like a good thing to do, to copy your brother-in-law, your lawyer.
But it'd be so
wife.
tempting.
It would be.
From a human perspective, you have to understand it.
You gotta
Like,
tell
there's
somebody.
nothing better than having information.
You got to tell somebody, right?
Yeah, and I would never do the two sources thing.
No.
I will report on one source without question.
That's what always amazed me about people in the CIA, is they are not allowed to talk about a lot of stuff they do, depending on what your job is. But if you're, like a non-official, what's the word? NOC. If you're no official cover,
government agency.
no official cover. If you're like
Yeah.
working overseas and you don't have like a State Department cover job, you're just over there on your own. You can't tell anybody any of the shit that you're doing, and you might get married and just never tell your spouse what you do all day, every day.
Impossible.
That seems like, I don't know how a relationship could ever be healthy with that.
And I feel like that's a lie.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's actually people like that.
Really?
That no one knows. How in
Yeah.
the world would anyone have, like, you never drink just a little too much? You never come out of like going to the dentist and having a little too much nitrous oxide where you're just starting to let some things slip because you had a couple cavities. Like, you're telling somebody.
Yeah.
Like, over the course of 20 years, you don't have like a bad moment like at your job and you're like, listen, babe, I got to tell you something. In the last 20 years, I've actually been a spook.
Right.
Like, come on.
It would seem like it would make you very mentally unwell if you did try to keep all that inside.
And we're talking that we have hundreds, thousands of these people across the globe. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Can you tell a therapist? Since like they're not legally allowed.
You get periodical polygraphs too.
Yeah.
And where they ask you if you've shared classified information with people. I wonder if you could be like, yeah, my therapist. I told them about this assassination I pulled off. But I know that therapists they're bound by law to notify authorities if somebody else or yourself is in danger.
Yeah, that's
But if you're
true.
like, hey, I'm about to assassinate the foreign minister from Lithuania. If
Does that
they get
count?
on the phone with the State Department. Excuse me, I've come across some information here.
I'm sure there is people like that for real, but I don't think it's nearly as many as people think.
Yeah,
Because human nature is human nature. You're gonna want to tell
yeah,
something.
that is true. On Big T's list of news for today, before we get more into the conclave, the Chicago police are in a little bit of hot water, or at least one recruit is.
Yeah.
So there was a recruit that got arrested because another cadet found 8 grams of crack cocaine in his pants during narcotics search training. The recruit allegedly claimed, "These aren't my pants." That's a good excuse.
He said his brother was a cop and they were his brother's pants, but he brought crack in his pants to drug search training day, which
Yeah.
I've
Hell
never prepared for the police academy, but I feel like you should intuitively know on drug search training day at minimum.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one day you gotta
Maybe we
your
leave the crack
at home. Yeah.
Check your pockets.
Yeah, so
I had no idea Jerry was gonna be a cop though.
I believe him.
okay, so Arian, I might believe the guy too, but I also think that he should not be a cop. This is a good way to not
Why?
because of the attention to detail. Like Big T said, you put on the wrong pants that have crack cocaine in them on your way to crack search day.
You could have easily played that off like, hey, keeping y'all on your toes.
Just
Yeah.
goofing.
Yeah.
It's a classic goof.
Of all the days to accidentally put these pants on, I chose the worst one in history.
That's
We have
why.
to do
That's
it.
why I believe him, though. I believe him. That's a
So,
wild thing to do.
according to the report, a trainer gave the recruit a small baggie decorated with blue stars that contained simulated heroin for scenario-based training involving narcotics offenses. Another recruit was instructed to perform a custodial search while the trainer observed and critiqued his performance. While searching the subject's cargo pants, why are you wearing cargo pants? The recruit conducting the search found a clear knotted baggie containing 4 small zip baggies decorated with green dollar signs, each containing suspected crack cocaine.
Now that changes the whole. If he's in cargo pants, you can't be held liable for what's in your cargo pants. There's so many pockets that you would have to check every day.
And also, anybody has access to those.
Everybody
Like, the pockets are just sticking out there.
Yep.
Anyone
You
can reach
can't-
over.
secure those all the way.
So the trainer asked the trainee what the knotted baggie contained. He said, "That's nothing. That's just garbage." Pressed for an answer, the recruit allegedly claimed, "These aren't my pants. They belong to my brother. He's the police."
Oh, okay, now I don't believe him.
Why are you going to throw your brother under the bus here?
Yeah, well, I don't believe him now. No, that's nothing. I mean, it's my brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if
is-
I had crack in my pants and I didn't know it was there, and somebody found crack in my pants, I'd be like, "Holy shit!
I'd be like, I have
Right.
That crack
Yeah.
in my
You can't
pants."
say that's garbage.
Yeah.
like, oh my God,
No, I'm saying
holy
it's
shit,
crack. It's
what
not
is
good
that?
crack.
What is that? I don't know.
How did that get there?
What is it?
Are you sure that's what it is?
Should we test it?
And then this looks really bad for me, but I have no idea how to explain myself.
Yeah, I'll do a drug test. I promise I'm not on crack.
Yeah.
That'd be the best. Yeah.
He is either, though, the dumbest person alive or the unluckiest person alive. One or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what if it is
Which
his
is pretty
brother's
remarkable
pants?
either way.
Also, how often are you putting on your brother's pants? Are
Right.
you guys getting dressed in the same room?
Right.
You have the same closet? You have the same drawers?
Mm-hmm.
Were you laying on the same air mattress together?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how when you rolled over, you just grabbed the first pair of pants that you saw? And you're like, "These cargo pants are mine."
The crack fell out of my brother's pocket into my pocket when we were spooning,
Yeah.
ironically.
Uh-huh.
So they're not identifying the detained recruit because criminal charges have not been filed. Why?
We don't need it. That's enough embarrassment.
Just kick him out?
Yeah.
I feel
Because
like-
it can't be enough to really charge somebody with like possession, like charging some. Just let him go.
yeah.
Publish his name. And that's it.
Well, they're not. That's the thing.
I like that too.
No name. But you'll know if you meet him.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll know right away.
You think they're just going to let him off?
I hope so. Who cares? I feel like we charge people with too many crimes that just like if you get caught one good time and you get embarrassed, then you're all right.
I kind of agree with that. If it's a non-violent crime, you're not putting anybody in danger, just publish your face.
Like underage drinking.
this person
Why are
did-
we writing a ticket for that?
This person stole 10 packets of Sudafed.
Right.
And we're not going to send you to jail. We are going to publish your picture. We're going to put you in our system so that way if we catch you again, then you get the double penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone should get one free play.
And then you can keep doing double down.
Yeah. So yeah, this guy, I agree with Big T. He's either the dumbest or the most unluckiest person ever. So I hope to get an update on it though, and whose pants they actually were. Big T also sent over a news interview from Australia with twins. So Big T, do you want to talk about this?
Bro, this clip makes me so mad.
I've watched the video several times. Arian, have you seen this?
Yeah,
I've
they're
not
full
seen
of
it.
shit.
Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there, and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run! He's got a gun!" And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?"
Because he had all blood
all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran
into the bush behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
Well, see, he was up there, and we were past our
when you
driveway.
Yeah. You don't
yeah.
think of all of that at the time. No, you just run for your
life.
safety.
Oh, you should watch it.
You should watch it. Chaps, have you seen it?
Oh, yeah. It's not the first time I've seen this phenomenon in Australia from twins either.
Yeah, so I saw there was another one, and they were actually better.
The ones that were on the dating show are Extreme Sisters.
I think so.
Have you seen? They're like, they're from Australia, and they get the same exact plastic surgery. Like one of them had and this show is insane. Extreme Sisters is nuts. So they are identical twins that they're in their like 30s or so. And one of the women had a bad toothache where they were going to have to take out like one of her molars, like because it was infected. And the sisters are so obsessed with being the same that the sister that had nothing wrong with her teeth, they looked all over for a dentist to find one that would take her completely healthy tooth out so that whenever they had x-rays, it would still look the same. Like they get their boobs the same exact, like fake boobs. Everything about them is exactly the same. They even share a boyfriend.
That's bizarre.
They're
That's
both
kind of lit.
It's crazy.
Yo, why are they doing that? Like, what is the medical explanation for this?
I don't know. And they didn't want to get, because the guy that they're with wants to have kids. He's like,
No,
I
I was
want
talking
to be a
about that. I'm
Oh.
talking about these ladies that Big T talking about where they just finish each
I
other's
was going to
sentences.
go off
like
for
this.
that for 45 minutes.
So can I talk about these women though?
Yeah, my
Because
fault. 'Cause while he was saying that,
everybody's
that's what I was
saying that they talk in sync, which they do for several words at a time. But first of all, in this clip, they're recounting a story that they were both there for. So they both know generally what happened. And they're not speaking at exactly the same time. They wait and hear a couple words and see where the sentence is going, and then the other one joins in. And they mess up plenty of times.
You know
too.
who else did that? Will Ferrell and Kristen Haig. Like they used to do it all the time together whenever they were like presenting at the Emmys or whatever, where they would try to say the same exact thing at the same time. Or no, wait, it wasn't.
It was
was
Fred
from
Armisen
Armisen.
and Kristen Wiig
Yeah.
played twins.
Yeah.
So good.
The SNL thing.
It's basically that skit, but real.
Right. But they're not like, it's not like they're actually saying the same thing at the same time all the time. They're waiting to hear. Exactly.
Yeah.
and everybody's like, look at these amazing. It's like, it's really not that
crazy.
good. Right.
Yeah.
You could guess what they're going to say next.
Right.
That's exactly what it is.
They're just really good at it. They've just practiced.
Yeah, and they probably
whole bunch.
hang out with each other every minute of every day for the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But still, it's a bizarre interview that they have. Like, why?
Yeah, it's also weird. It's also weird to do that.
Why did they agree to interview both of them at the same time?
Good point, Big T.
Why do twins
It's
dress
very
up
weird.
like each other? Or like Chap said, go to the same lengths as getting your own teeth out to mimic your identical twin.
Because your whole identity. Like when you grow up as a twin, that's the leading thing.
But if you had identical twins, would you dress them up the same?
I wouldn't. But I mean, I think a lot of twins, like parents of twins, think about how much being a twin parent would consume your fucking life. Like the first 6 years, that's all you do. Like I'm a twin parent. I have twins. Like that's all I do. So because that's your identity, it rubs off on the kids. Like two of my best friends growing up, Louie and Norby, shout out. Louie and Norby were twins. Mm-hmm. Their mom would be like upset if they came inside from their school clothes, which they wore the same exact school clothes every day. If when they went out to play clothes, that their play clothes weren't the same. If she saw them wearing different clothing, like below like 12 years old, she was mad about it.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
Do identical twins, do they try to date other sets of identical twins?
You guys have got to watch this show.
There's
Extreme Sisters,
a
that's
group
on
of
there
those.
too. Yeah.
They're like a dating app?
Have you seen the two twin pairs that are married to each other?
No.
It's on that same show.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought are they American?
Yep, they're American.
Yeah.
So this Extreme Sister show, they have all over the place. But this one, so these two twins, they married twins. They all stay in one big house together. And the houses are designed where the master bedrooms are the same exact. There's two of them that are exactly the same thing. And they had a baby and they wanted to do it as like a couple. So they basically did like the swirl of whose sperm, whose whatever. So they don't even
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like parents with this kid together. They all four have equal rights, and none of them really know like who the dad is. Like, they know who the embryo was implanted in, but other than that, they don't know. They try to keep it as low level
That should be
information.
illegal.
I agree.
Is that like incest?
That's crazy. Like that's a worse version of polygamy.
Yeah, because McKinsey,
Yes.
I agree, especially in the case where it's two twins that are dating the same guy. Like, that's incest, right? Do
They don't. So this group that I talked, like the other couple from, are
But they're the same.
They don't-
They have the same DNA.
They don't fuck it all at once.
Yeah.
But if they do
that's
everything
interesting.
equal,
But if
like, okay, you get 4 pumps, you get 4 pumps,
Yeah.
4 pumps, 4 pumps.
not. Or just take turns. Like tonight's my night, tomorrow night's your night.
Crazy.
Yeah.
This is two guys, just to be clear.
He might like
it's
that
two
type
guys
shit,
dating
you know?
one.
It is a pair of male twins and a pair of female twins.
I know, but Chaps was saying that.
Yeah, there's another couple that like the two sisters date the same guy.
Okay, yeah. I see.
That could work out.
That's
amazingly.
insane.
Just saying.
How?
Huh?
How would that ever work out amazingly?
I would have not like bro hold on. First of all, I operate from the premise as long as it's consensual. I don't kink shame and legal. Consensual.
Oh,
and
I
legal.
kink shame. There's some things I would definitely.
I don't care, man. You like as a twin, right? You like exactly what the other person likes more often than not, right? You like all the same things, so of course you're gonna like the same dude, and that dude is like, hey, I like how you look, and I like what you got going on. You got a twin, and y'all both like me. I mean, do what you gotta do. It's free country, man. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm all for love, man. Love how you want to love. You know.
I just
I'm not
think
gonna-
seeing your sister's titties every night when you're laying in bed together.
But y'all
is weird.
thinking of the nasty stuff. Y'all thinking of they doing it at the
Well,
same
yeah,
time.
that's the relationship.
I'm sure there's some boundaries that they draw. I'm sure there's some boundaries that they draw.
I don't know that there are.
I don't think so.
If
What
that's
about-
what they're doing, they have no boundaries.
They're like
Yeah.
holding
It's
hands.
illegal
They'll kiss
in
each
the
other
United
at the
States,
same
though, right?
time. You got to watch this show, dude. It is fucking wild.
Isn't incest illegal in a lot of states though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
don't
I'm saying.
think
As
it's
long as
as
consensual.
long, as,
I
long
would
as they
guess
aren't
all
fucking.
of them.
I don't think they're fucking. I don't think the two sisters are fucking, but they're fucking adjacent.
It's like
at
White
worst.
Lotus.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I don't know, man, because I've had like
It's like when Pornhub comes to real life, the front page.
I've had situations where long time ago, where you and your best man, you know what I'm saying, one of the homies, you get it going with similar, you know what I'm saying? Don't make me say it. Don't look at me like that. Just don't make me say it. It
Say it.
happens.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then never mind. It's a certain kind of transportation, and you have your half of the torso, and he has his half of the torso, and y'all keep it like that.
Wait.
Torso. We're doing double penetrations.
No, I said you have your half of the torso.
Yeah.
Oh.
R.I.P. to Patrice O'Neal. That's what I'm saying.
Torso, but you're sharing the torso. You're not sharing.
I think you talking Eiffel Tower. Is that what you're talking about?
You mean your side?
I don't know what the fuck that is, Jack.
I'm lost.
So we're going.
I'm lost.
Are you talking?
We're going vag mouth, right?
I said it's
Let's
a
just
service.
get to
yeah,
the-
let's say it.
It's a train.
We're going-
I don't
Right.
even-
But
you-
to be clear, are we talking about down at the same end?
Is
I said
everybody
your
on the
half.
track
You
at the
got
same
your
time?
half. You got the northern half of the torso. I got the lower half of the torso, and that's how we rock it.
Okay, but the head is not part of the torso.
It's the top half of the torso.
I don't think your head's part of your torso.
It's the top half. You have
That's been my basic
a torso
understanding.
doesn't have a
Yeah.
north and a south. I mean, you're being really semantic here, but a torso has a north and a southern hemisphere.
I think a lot of people were confused.
Yeah, let's keep
about,
hemispheres.
Yeah, hemisphere.
Somebody gets the northern hemisphere. Somebody
Okay.
gets the southern hemisphere.
That's what we do. I mean, it's long. I was in college, right? I don't do that shit. I'm too old for that shit. But I'm saying you can enjoy an experience like that, and I didn't have no sexual energy towards my mans. You know what I'm saying? It was an experience.
Yeah, but I feel like that's very different from being your sister. Like if you're a twin. But maybe it's like looking at yourself in the mirror. So it's kind of like voyeuristic. Where
Share
you're
the
like,
same
Or like
DNA,
masturbation almost. You know?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I
keep
don't
saying,
know.
'cause I don't
That's been a
pretend
long
to know
debate.
what it feels like to be sexually attracted to somebody that has twins. I don't know what that's why I don't keep shaming. It's not for everybody. It's not for me. But I mean, do what you got to do as long as it's legal.
And if you're conjoined twins, you don't really have any other option.
God, that would be the worst.
Yeah, you have like a little sheet that you put up.
Because if you're, I mean, no disrespect, but if you're with somebody and you're a conjoined twin, you know that the person that is with your conjoined twin half, probably a pervert.
Probably, yeah.
Like an absolute creep.
There's a
So
type.
you're automatically like, ugh, wants to have sex with part of me? Gross.
Yeah, there's a type of guy that is. I bet you most guys that are in a relationship with twins have either will never be in another relationship or exclusively like hop around from twin to twin. That's like their thing.
Did you hear Chief's story yesterday?
No.
He's dated 4 twins.
What?
Yeah. 4 girls who all have a twin.
Identical?
I think he said only one was identical, but most of them looked pretty similar.
Did he do that on purpose?
No, didn't know.
There's something about him.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there has to be.
He does have twin fucker energy.
Yeah.
But it's like once you hang out with twins enough, you can tell the difference by voice, even by look.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like if you just passing by a lot of the times, it's like I don't know how do you tell the difference. But like once you hang around them for a while, you know which one is which.
Yeah, Norby had a weird nose.
Did he?
Yeah.
It was differently shaped.
Yeah, Louis was way more attractive.
That's a shame for Norby. Hey, they should change names. Norby can't be the weird looking one.
Fucking Norby.
By the way, there are 2 states which do not criminalize incest between consenting adults.
Definitely in the South.
let's guess.
see.
Arkansas.
Alabama.
Arkansas.
I was gonna say
one,
Mississippi.
And I would say, I know there was another state that just tried to get it off the books, but it wasn't.
You know, is it
Maybe
Tennessee?
Utah.
Tennessee has some weird ass marriage.
Y'all
laws.
are all not even close, and I'm offended.
I've got an idea.
And it's going to shock you.
I've got an idea.
Iowa.
Vermont,
Utah?
You're getting closer.
New Hampshire,
You're getting really close.
Maine.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island and New Jersey.
Huh? New Jersey?
Do not. Yep, it's
Fucking
the
perverts in New
it's-
Jersey.
It's the New Jersey liberals that do not criminalize incest between consenting adults.
That's crazy.
That's nasty, B.
I would have assumed all 50. I really would have, but I guess in the Northeast that's still going on. It's a
Yeah,
shame.
that's what they say. Yeah, that's
a shame.
it.
Wait, now I'm looking at the New Jersey legislature here.
The whole thing?
It says an actor is guilty of incest if he marries or commits an act of sexual penetration with an ancestor or descendant to whom the actor is related by blood or affinity to the 3rd degree, a brother or a sister of the whole or half blood of an uncle, aunt, nephew, or niece of the whole blood.
I would love to be in part of
Well,
those
then maybe
debates.
Wikipedia's wrong.
Now, that's a bill. It was sponsored, and it was put into the 2002 session. I don't know if it was passed, though.
So I'm seeing when the actor is related to the victim by blood or affinity to the 3rd degree, and the victim is at least 16 but less than 18 years old. So that could be like a statutory thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing that between consenting adults, it is not.
I mean, speaking of which, Kanye West.
True. Yeah, good point. I was wondering where that speaking of which was going to go.
I was very curious.
This directly correlates to this.
Probably the least bad place he could have gone with that.
Yeah.
For his sake.
And
anyway.
Having that be Kanye is wild.
Yeah.
The least bad spot that he could have done
right,
was Kanye.
exactly.
I mean, there's in no point in my life have I ever felt bad for a Nazi. I feel bad for this man, dog. Like, I do. You could tell it's chemical. It's chemical. Something's wrong with him, right? Mentally. I don't know, man.
He said this in 2008.
Did he?
You've never seen nothing crazier than Kanye off his Lexapro.
Oh, yeah.
Also, he's
True.
not. I take Lexapro. That shit is life changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Apparently.
What is Lexapro?
It's what?
It's like anxiety.
Well, Lexapro
medication.
is oh wait, no, I'm thinking Lamictal.
Oh.
Lamictal
Isn't
is what I'm on.
Lexapro and SSRI?
Yeah, you're right.
So
Lamictal. Well, Lexapro is not that strong then. So
I do also feel bad for Kanye because if he's putting all this out there, obviously he's not he's not seeing clearly. He's in a bad mental state, but also it means that something bad happened to him when he was a kid, like in his family.
Well, see, this is that's the thing though. Like, so people that don't know what we're talking about, he put out the song. I'm not laughing at his pain. It's just it doesn't happen every day, and
Bizarre.
That's how I deal with things in my life. I laugh. He put out a song called "Cousins," in where he describes in detail how he went down on his boy cousin until the age of 14 because he found pornographic magazines of, I think it was gay dude magazines, because he found it on his mom's, I think he said refrigerator, like the top of the refrigerator is a wild place to put your porn, first off. But he found him there, and him and his cousin acted it out. Now, I don't mind, like, there's nothing wrong with being gay, bro, or any kind of sex, as long as it's legal. I just think that
This wasn't legal, to be clear.
well, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, this is why I don't think. I think he may have an affinity for that kind of thing, like for being homosexual, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think he denied it, and I think that especially the culture we come from is extremely homophobic. Because I remember being 14, and I vividly remember being 14. Like I had agency. I was well aware of what I was doing, and I had preferences. I don't know that. I think he just liked it.
right, like I was 14 too at one point, and if I looked on top of the refrigerator and I saw gay porn, I'm not gonna be like, well, Seth, we're cousins, but pull that thing out.
I guess we have to do this because I found it. Yeah.
And Seth had leukemia at the time, so it would have been wildly inappropriate.
That would have been very, very bad. Yeah. Now
he's better.
Now, if I don't know what age he said that they started to do this stuff at.
He said 10.
At 10, yeah. I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of other stuff that might have been going on.
Sure.
In and around that household, that would really fuck him up and not know what was appropriate, what wasn't. So yeah, it was just crazy that he tweeted that out, and I saw that, and I was like, he's not okay. This guy's not doing well.
So that's why I hope there's a little bit of humor aspect to it, but I mean that is like a traumatic event in your life and his cousin's life, because his cousin now is in jail for murder, and so those kind of things can fuck a kid up. So like, it's not really something to make fun of. I think in general, like my whole point is like dog, exploring your sexuality should never be shunned. Like, and I think a lot of that shit is repressed, in my opinion. Like, because if you like exploring and try to figure out you are, like you like some of that shit, dog. You like some of that shit, and we shouldn't. I don't know, man. I hope he gets some help, because this may be the worst downfall in the history of mankind, right? Like, this is bad. He's a Nazi, and now he's admitting his sexual
It also-
transgressions as a youth. That shit
I mean,
is-
it also just screams like an enormous amount of self-sabotage to the worst degree.
yeah.
And I don't think most people are making an issue that that he was sucking dick. I think it's because he was sucking his cousin's dick.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the, like, I don't think it's necessarily the fact that he's gay. I think it's that he was gay with his cousin.
Yeah.
And why do we need to know that? Is that they say like we don't need to? I think that's just the age we live in.
He simply did not have to tweet it out.
I didn't need to know this. Like, I hope like get the help you need.
And his cousin in prison right now has probably told a bunch of his friends in prison, the cellmates, like, yeah, Kanye is my cousin. Like, they know that Kanye is this guy's cousin.
That shit is a wild point. That's a great point.
Then word gets back to everybody else in his cell block.
And pockets start coming out.
And it's like, wait, that's you.
No, I'm his other cousin. I know the cousin he's talking about. That's another cousin. He got to dodge that accusation.
To be fair, we have a very large family.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have looked at his Twitter in the last 6 hours. He's got some more.
Oh shit.
Some more out there.
Can you update us?
Lay it on me.
I mean, this one I'm not gonna read, but
read it.
Now that people think I'm gay, am allowed to say the F word, and then the eyeball emoji.
He had one that just said, "I own racism."
Okay.
Does that mean he is the proprietor?
He's the only,
or that he
the caretaker?
I think
he owns that he is racist.
I think he's saying that he is the only person.
I think so as well.
Everybody else is paying rent.
I think so too. This, in case you were worried that he wasn't in a world of his own creation, everyone loves me now. Don't worry, I'll make you hate me again. So we haven't even seen what he's got up his sleeve.
So in his mind, he's like, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's back? White Sox Dave and Kanye.
Oh my God.
This one actually, see, and here's where he gets you. This would kind of go hard in a song. Everybody get the fuck out the way. The people only need yay.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where,
It's pretty disturbing stuff.
Textbook bipolar. Textbook bipolar. You can either be manic or depressant. Manic, you can be manic depressant, right?
Yep.
It's like you could be really low or really high, whatever the terminology is for that. And I've seen both in my lifetime by people, dear people that I love. And I think that euphoria you sense, where you feel like you are the center of the globe, is a real thing. And the problem with him is he is an artistic genius. So his euphoric and utopian idealism that lives in his head is validated because so many people like what he does.
Yeah. And it's not, that part of it is not unearned either, because like you said, he is a genius when it comes to his, the music that he creates and produces.
Yeah. Like, I will always check for his music. He'll drop, right now he put out Bully. I said it on the podcast, but he put out Bully. Like, there's some shit on there that's not for me, but like there's a few songs that are just dope. Really dope music. And so in that state that he's in, to create stuff like that is just fascinating. And that's, I don't know, man, that's art.
I wonder what Kim thinks of the latest tweets.
Are you a record player guy, Aaron?
Shout out to, hold on, yeah, I'll just question a second, but I want to say shout out to Kim Kardashian. Here's why. I think the way that she's handled this, it's kind of made me a fan of her. In no lifetime have I ever even checked for Kim Kardashian, but to have your baby dad just so outwardly express all the random stuff that he's expressing, and for you she has no really responses. She's not like trying to like sway public opinion about him or her or their family. She's just keeping it in her house and being like, yo, let him do his thing. I'm just going to be a mother. That is from being in like toxic, I've seen toxic backlashes and been a part of it. And for her to do this in public, it's hard to do. And I know she's biting the tongue a lot of the times, and it's hard to do. So like, shout out to her. That's impressive, dog. Kim is probably a dope person.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
What would you ask though, Chaps?
Are you a vinyl record guy?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It seemed like you would be. Yeah.
Shout out to the Macrodosians of this world, because there was a dude that hit me fuck, I forget his name. Sorry, my guy. He works for a vinyl record because I put out a little Instagram of I had this like little portable vinyl thing. I mean, it's portable vinyl thing that was super
Oh yeah, I
dope
saw
to-
that.
It
Yeah,
was super dope to me.
yeah, it's cool.
And then people was in my DMs trashing me like, "Yo, this is ass. You need a better vinyl." I was like, "God damn, I thought it was cool," because I had hooked up to my Bluetooth and everything.
hmm
So this dude hit me, and he was like, "Yo, I work for a vinyl company." He's like, "You should check them out. Like, we make really dope, and they're super expensive, but some of the most pristine machines that I've ever seen, and they're handcrafted, made in San Diego, California." And I bought one, and it's been so amazing. It hooks up to Sonos.
hmm
It was one of the most amazing things that I bought, and it's in my living room, and I got a whole little vinyl collection. I got a whole bunch of vinyls. When my grandpa passed, I'm rambling, but my grandpa passed. I got all his vinyl collections, and I got stuff in there from like the 40s, 50s, 60s. It's dope, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently got into like probably 2 or 3 years ago. I picked up my stepdad passed, and I got all of his old records, and I've been buying a bunch since.
Yeah,
It's like the most real. It seemed like a vibe that you would enjoy.
I love
Just
it.
sitting listening to music,
That
and I like
crackle,
you've
that crackle.
yeah the crackle. Yep, and it's
Ooh.
so like my favorite shit with it is like there'll be old records that they do at like Carnegie Hall, and you could tell if you have your stereo system set up the right way, you could sit and you could tell where the instruments are in the room that they're playing. Like, oh, the stand-up bass is off to the left.
That's cool.
Like you can hear the spacing so much more in vinyl than you can any other, and I really like that aspect.
How does it work for when you put on headphones while you're listening to vinyl?
It depends on if it's separated. So vinyl purists would say that it shouldn't be over Bluetooth because then you lose it. Like the beauty of it is that there's no compression.
Right.
So it goes straight through to your receiver. But yeah.
Yeah, it does sound better. I used to be a skeptic when people would be like vinyl sounds better, and then I started listening. I was like, yeah, it's actually true.
I think you pick up appreciation for an artist more because you listen to the record how they envisioned it. Like they spend so much time like what song goes in what order, how's it going to go here, and once you start doing like Sturgill Simpson, for example, great example. He makes his albums for the purpose of vinyls. Like he wants everything to flow, the one song to flow into the next song, so there doesn't have to really be even breaks. So he doesn't have like track spots in his songs.
That's cool.
Like it's all continuous, and I think that for the artistry of it made me appreciate certain artists way more.
I don't think we spend enough time just being amazed about how they make vinyl.
Dog.
It's so cool.
Like, it's a piece of vinyl and it spins around and there's tiny microscopic grooves in the tracks.
It can make any sound.
And when a needle goes across it, it plays your favorite song. Like just by rubbing up against those tiny grooves.
How did someone figure that out?
I don't know. That's
Watching
crazy.
that process.
Yeah.
It's really dope too. Watching them make vinyl.
Yeah. Have you ever done on yours, Arian, where if you turn the sound off and you could stick your ear towards the needle, even without any power amplification, you could hear it just going over.
Yep.
I think that shit's so wild.
I used to do that
cool.
when I was a kid. That's why my love for vinyl came up. My mom and dad had a vinyl player. So growing up, every Sunday morning, we would clean and eat breakfast, and they would play their favorite records. And so like I grew up around like opening up albums from Parliament, Confunction, Patsy Cline, stuff like that.
Looking at all the art and everything.
Them. Yeah, that's how I grew up. So I did exactly what you said. You could hear it coming from the needle. That shit is super dope.
I want to get one of those big cabinets that almost looks like a dresser, but it goes into your living room. Like you open up the top and that's the record player.
That company they have one.
Oh, do they?
That shit was like 10 racks though. I was like, that's
no, thanks. I didn't play for the Texans. But I want to get, because right now I just have like a pretty normal setup in my basement, but I would love to have something like that super nice in my living room or even the bonus room.
The bonus room, that's a perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
One more thing before we get into the conclave today. We've got a small update on Katy Perry. She says that now she wishes that she didn't go into space. Yeah.
All right.
Well, she's just saying that she did. At first, she was saying that she did the trip for the benefit of Earth, which is a noble stance to take. But now she's just saying that she regrets sharing the daisy with the world. referring to a symbolic flower that she brought to space in tribute to her 4-year-old daughter, and she wishes the video footage from inside the pod was never shown. So I guess
I agree with that.
She's not
Wish
like
it was never shown.
she's not like regretting going to space, but she's regretting the video of her holding the daisy for her daughter.
Did her daughter passes him?
No, she was just saying like, here's a daisy for my daughter. Mom's in outer space, kind of, with Jeff Bezos' girlfriend.
Hold on, and Gail King. I'm so confused. She's, I guess, regretting going to space. Not regretting going to space, but regretting have the footage of her showing a daisy representing her child in space.
Yep.
Why?
I don't know. This is according to
dumb.
Yeah. I don't know. What she does not regret going to space, the source told the tabloid. It was life-changing. What she does regret is making a public spectacle out of it. So she wishes that she had gone to space and not filmed it.
Oh,
and not shown the world.
I know she's like, I was kind of wilder. She's like,
Yeah.
I should have been a little more chill.
Or she's up there. She just regrets being on her phone the whole time that she was in space. That would be a pretty big regret, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You come back and you're like, I was just kind of scrolling Twitter for a couple hours.
Oh, what? It already happened?
Yeah.
And then she comes back down. She kisses the ground. That shit was
Oh,
funny.
God.
Mhm.
I really fuck with the ground, dog. Like,
Orlando Bloom needs to get out of there.
Do you think so?
Yeah. She can't be enjoyable to talk to. She's not real. Like, none of that shit's real. That's not a real person that has actual thoughts going on.
You might
that
be right.
does that kind of stuff.
You might be right about that.
Everything about her life has got to be unbelievably performative.
I did enjoy her appearance on College Game Day. That was an all-time one.
I don't remember that
Having
one.
Katy Perry sitting next to Lee Corso, and I think she had a corn dog in her hand. It was at the Grove in Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and she was really obsessed with Trevor Knight.
Yeah.
Who was forget if he was at Oklahoma or A&M at that time.
Yeah, Lee Corso was so confused. Also, I almost said R.I.P. Thoughts and prayers to Lee. He's got one more College Game Day.
Yeah.
He got one more in him. I think he's going to be retired.
Where do you think they should go?
I think they're going to go to Texas, Ohio State.
Not to FSU for him?
Oh, that's a good point. Who are they playing week one?
Alabama.
Oh, Big T. Good point. I did not know that. I'm just hearing of this now.
Yeah.
They might do FSU then.
I feel like they have to, but
I feel like
Texas,
FSU,
Ohio
yeah.
State is obviously a better game, but
Yeah.
Who do you think the next big person, like sports announcer, broadcaster, that's going to hit like that? Because like Vern leaving CBS was big.
Yeah.
Al Michaels going is big. Then you have Lee. Who would be the next one in that group?
Nance
Jim Nance. But he already announced his retirement tour.
in 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love what a power move.
We've got a good runway that we can start making arrangements right now.
You're going to get the farewell tour.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Well, is Al Michaels, he's still working though, right?
I think this is his last year too.
Is it Thursday Night Football? Al Michaels is a big one. There aren't any other real old ones that I
There's
can
like
think
new
of.
ones, I think, that are.
Kevin Harlan's been around for a while.
But I feel like he's still kicking.
Yeah.
I mean, how long Lee Corso's been there has really kind of overshadowed how long Herb Street's been there now.
Yeah.
Like he's been there like fucking 30 years
The
at
whole
this
time.
point.
Yeah. Herb Street was.
What?
He's been on the show the whole time.
What do you mean? The whole time Lee Corso has?
They've both been on the show since it started.
Who they used to have?
Herb Street?
Yeah, he was on the show. Like he graduated from Ohio State and I think was doing like local radio in Columbus for a few years and then got College Game Day. Like he was on it since he was maybe late 20s.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was a young pup.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
like,
I remember
this
he was
guy's
super young, but
fresh
I
face.
thought that they had been going before Lee was there before
I don't
Herb
know.
Street.
So do we know what year Game Day started?
I'm going
'Cause I
to
was
guess
little.
it was 1996.
That's a good guess.
That's a good guess, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else want to guess?
97.
I'd
think
say
it
a
was
little
that-
bit earlier.
I
I'd
was
say
like
93.
2000s, right? 2000s? I don't know.
Because I think I remember them
2000.
being at the Florida State Notre Dame game in 1993.
Okay.
So it began in 1987.
Oh.
God damn.
But they
And then the first time the show traveled to a campus was 93.
so I would say it started
Was it
in
Florida State
93.
Notre Dame?
It was.
Holy
Wow,
Wow.
Chaps, good
shit.
pull.
Chaps, what the fuck is wrong with you, dog?
Right.
So it would be
In a
the
good way.
site.
In a good way.
Question.
It would be the site of his first game day.
Yeah.
Oh, was it
Yes.
Florida State at Notre Dame or Notre
Yes,
Dame?
it was at Notre Dame. Because
It was
Okay, so this would
remember
be at
how huge that game was? They had touchdown Jesus in the back, and it was Florida State. The quarterback was Charlie Ward, was their quarterback.
Charlie Ward. Holy
Yep.
shit.
And they had their DBs were Clifton Abraham.
Doesn't
was
get
one of
enough credit as one of the best athletes of all time.
them. Charlie Ward, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
I mean,
the man.
NBA
that game was
NBA
huge.
starter, Heisman quarterback. That's insane. Like,
Did he ever play in the NFL?
I
Or he
don't,
just did
I don't
NBA?
think he did. I
think he was just
NBA.
NBA.
Yeah.
That game was crazy because the Florida State beat Notre Dame, and then the very next week lost to Boston College
Yeah.
because Notre Dame was like the huge hurdle that Florida State had to get over, and they were like, if they get through Notre Dame, it's national championship for the first time for Florida State. Boom, lose to Boston College.
Man, Lee Corso, his last show. I actually now think that Big T might be right. I think they might do Florida State.
Yeah.
Big send off.
Also, just for record keeping, Kirk Herbstreit joined in '96.
Yeah, he got to ESPN in '95.
Okay.
But pretty much the whole show.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's a lot longer than I would have thought for sure.
My experience with Lee Corso was a brief one, but I sat down next to him on the game day set when they brought me out, and it was very loud. And Lee Corso just looked at me, and he just gave me the classic Lee Corso grandpa smile, and he just like reached out and like hit my arm and just smiled at me, and I was like, "This is awesome. This is the coolest thing ever." And then I started talking, and the things that I was saying did not compute to Lee Corso. And I'm not saying that it didn't compute because Lee Corso is an older gentleman. I'm saying that they didn't compute because they should not compute to Lee Corso, because I was talking about Rico Bosco.
Yeah.
At one point, I shouted out the Kansas State crops judging team and started talking about me judging weed. I think I said, like, I only know mids and headies, maybe beasters. I don't know what they're judging over there, different kind of crops. And then Lee looked at me and goes, "I have no idea what you just said," or like, "I don't know what any of that meant." I was like, "That's fair, Lee. You should not know." But yeah, he just gave me like the nice, warm grandfather smile, hit me on my arm, and was like, "Let's go." I was like, "I'm all in. Let's do this, Lee."
You also shouted out the #1 Tennessee fan you know, Arian Foster, and then everybody on the panel was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah."
Yeah. That was good.
I forgot about that, Doc.
That was good. Yeah, but then there were, several thousand people that knew exactly what I was doing to you at the time and thought that was
For
very
sure.
funny. Yeah.
For sure.
What if I had said, shout out the #1 Tennessee fan I know, Big T?
Big Tennessee.
Yeah, nothing would have changed.
Put on a mask of your face.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They have to retire that. Nobody else can do that.
Oh, McAfee's going to be all over
They,
that.
I will be very upset if they hand that over to Pat McAfee.
He just puts on the mascot torso. He takes his shirt off and then puts on.
He's got a good thing going that he doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, I agree. That's
what was he recently in the news? People were asking me, like, what do you think of Pat McAfee? And that question got posed to me, like, did something happen?
Or it's kind of always in the news.
Yeah, there was after WrestleMania, he did a live episode of his show, and they had one of the people from WWE on, Paul Heyman, and he started like saying all the stuff that McAfee didn't want him to say on the air, and he just let it all go. So he was
like, what?
He was telling McAfee that he was like, "Remember when you told me when we were getting stoned that you think that you should be making more money than Stephen A. Smith and that he's a jerk? You know how they don't want you to mention your podcast on the TV show? Yeah, they don't like doing that, do they?"
He trashed Shannon Sharp.
Yeah. Talked about Shay a little bit. It was intriguing television.
Stand on business, Pat.
Yeah, you could tell when
Stand on business.
ironically, when he brought up like the podcast part, that's when Pat was like, "Oh shit, I'm getting in hot water right now."
He's never been afraid to go at ESPN though.
That is true.
But I think that's different.
Yeah.
Did he used to work at
Different
Barstool?
vibes. Yeah.
He did, yeah. For a couple years, maybe.
Huh?
Yeah.
2 or 3. Something like
Barstool
that.
low-key be pumping them out, man.
Yeah. Yeah, McAfee, Caller Daddy,
Jenna Marbles.
Jenna Marbles. The list goes on. Caleb and Glennie doing big things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's talk conclaves. before we get to Conclave talk, it's brought to you by Stella Blue. They're going to need some coffee in the Vatican this week. At Stella Blue Coffee, we believe that good coffee is one of life's non-negotiables. Our delicious roasts are available in cold brew, K-cups, ground, whole bean formats, so they seamlessly fit into your morning coffee routine. Mad Dog has a frother, and she's been frothing up her cream and her syrup. I'm still on my frothing tip. Love frothing my coffee. Add the cream to the top of Stella Blue. It is the best way to start the day, and each purchase helps save homeless pets. So you can fuel your mornings with Battle Bar's new dark chocolate espresso protein bars, which are crispy, delicious energy bars infused with real Stella Blue coffee, and they taste phenomenal. We've got them in the office. Everybody's having them. They taste really, really good, and they also have 17 grams of protein and 100 milligrams of natural caffeine. No fake sugar, so it keeps you powered up, keeps you dialed in. Every bite is battle-tested and Big Cat approved. Shop today at StellaBlueCoffee.com or BattleBars.com while supplies last. All right, Conclave. We're doing conclaves, guys. The Pope died. There will be an election of a new Pope, and it will take place 15 to 20 days after the death of the former Pope. So as soon as the Pope dies, there's a guy in the Vatican that takes over and is like the interim Pope who's running the show. But apparently that Pope, or that person right now, is like over 80.
He's an Irish guy.
That's the Irish dude. And so he can't technically be nominated or take over his official duty. So I don't know who is running the show right now.
They just announced it today. It's some Irish dude that the Pope that just died had put in that position in 2018.
Specifically for this reason?
For that role. Like,
Okay.
so you have to put some, it's almost like a will where that Pope had, like, who is going to carry out his last rites, who's going to do all that, who's going to be in charge while the College of Cardinals try to get it together.
You really can't screw that one up.
They probably have.
Last rites for the Pope? Yeah. So it happens between 15 and 20 days after the Pope dies. So this is a fun fact. The word conclave, do you know where it came from?
No.
It comes from a Latin word, cumclave.
Oh.
cum-clave. That's what it has been called for centuries, the cumclave. But the clave means key. So cum is obviously a Latin word meaning with. So with key is what it meant. Because it means that the cardinals are going to be locked in a room or locked in a dorm, essentially, sequestered from the world with a key. So I did not know that. That's a fun fact, cumclave. So there are approximately 135 electors. They're cardinals, and they keep them sequestered because they don't want them to be influenced by anything going on outside the church walls.
The ultimate jury.
The ultimate jury. So like they might be operating with imperfect information because they can't. I don't know. Are you allowed to use the internet? Can you Google stuff? Probably
I would bet
not.
those fellas don't use the internet anyway.
You don't think so?
No.
I think some of the younger ones probably do.
I mean, but you can't be that young and be a cardinal.
That is true. But only cardinals under the age of 80 are allowed to vote. So right now there are 252 cardinals.
We should have that rule in the House of Representatives.
Well, there's a senator from Illinois, Dick Durbin, just announced he was going to be retiring. So Illinois is going to have our own cumclave soon. Mm-hmm. Who would you like to see from Illinois? From this office specifically, as
from
a
this
senator.
Office, be a senator?
Mm-hmm.
No one.
No one. Yep, good answer. Correct.
No one at all.
Yeah. So there are only 135 of the 252 cardinals that can vote, and 10 of the cardinal electors are American. So we've got a pretty big voice over there.
How many SEC schools?
I don't know. I would imagine that they're mostly from like the Northeast.
I'd have to imagine like Boston College, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Like those.
Yeah. Or do they have
Xavier.
that guy, Bubba Cunningham, that ran the NCAA tournament selection committee? It's actually UNC is the new pope.
Yeah.
It's going to be Belichick. So they've got 10 that are from America, and they stay in the Domus Sanctae Marthae. And that's where Pope Francis lived. It was a 2-room suite that he stayed in. He eschewed the Pope's mansion, decided not to live there. He was like a minimalist Pope. So the voting process, do you know what room it takes place in?
What? The Sistine Chapel.
Inside the Sistine Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
I thought it was St. Peter's Basilica.
No.
pretty cool place to have your election. I do also love the Vatican City Guards, the uniforms that they wear.
Swiss Guard.
Yeah, is that what they are?
Yeah, that's what they're called.
The Swiss Guard.
You have to be from Switzerland in order to do that. You have to be in between 5'10" and 6'2", and you can't be more than 230 pounds, and you can't be less than 190 pounds.
That's a crazy needle to thread.
You know who else has those same exact standards?
Marines.
Marine Corps Silent Drill Team.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Not
what
all Marines, but like the Silent Drill Team.
What do they do?
They're the ones that like spin the rifles and shit.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
Okay. Did you guys get that from the Swiss, or did the Swiss get that from you?
I would imagine we got it from them.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been around
Yeah.
much longer.
But those fancy uniforms that they wear, the blue and yellow uniforms that the Swiss Guard wear,
Yeah.
there's lots of rumors that say that Michelangelo was the one that designed that. Not true.
Not true, but they are good. I
Yeah.
like those uniforms. I kind of agree
They're
with
getting fits off, yeah.
the very strict dimensions of their bodies. Like you don't want somebody that's super skinny trying to fill that out. You don't want somebody that's like super short.
Well, and it's
trying to
all
wear those.
ceremonial. Like
Yeah.
it's all how do you look?
Yeah. So the Swiss Guard they guard the Sistine Chapel. They guard the sequester. I don't know what you call a group of cardinals. A flock of cardinals.
A murder.
Yeah. A murder of cardinals. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Now, we could probably look that up. What is Big T, can you look that up? What is a group of cardinals called? So, in theory, any baptized Catholic male could be elected pope, but it has almost always been a cardinal. You know the last non-cardinal elected?
No, I don't. No idea.
Pope Urban VI in 1378.
Damn.
You're not going to believe what a group of cardinals is called.
A team.
Take a guess.
A roster.
A McGuire.
No, but in a way, you're on the right track.
A babysitter.
A nursery.
They are
An Eckstein.
They can be called a college, conclave, or a Vatican of cardinals.
Okay. A college of cardinals. I kind of like that.
Same- same thing.
That's what it's called, the College of Cardinals. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is they pass out paper ballots. They have 2 MCs.
Okay.
Yep.
Probably
Bars.
Jeff D-Lo.
Yeah, it's a wrap on Jeff D-Lo. Yeah, I gotta go get a spray tan and a haircut. I gotta get to the Vatican.
For the record, really quick, I was told y'all was gonna be wearing Pope.
Oh
outfits.
yeah, Mad Dog ordered nun costumes
And Pope
and
costumes.
Pope costumes. I have the nun costume behind me. I forgot to put it on. She has one for Chaps too. I don't know if you want to put on a nun costume. Maybe we'll just take like a screenshot of us.
The Pope costumes did not arrive in time for recording.
Probably a pretty hot ticket item.
Probably. They're on their way, so I'm going to get Pope costumes that are going to be useless to me now. But the nun costumes got here that I was going to have Mackenzie and I wear, but obviously I would rather have you guys wear them, and Big T denied it due to its blasphemous.
I wouldn't be wearing it even if they were here, if that's any consolation.
Right. So he also said it was blasphemous, which I
Is this
respect.
blasphemous? How is this blasphemous? I
don't. You can do whatever you want. I
also
just
not
wouldn't
religious.
wear it.
That looks good on you.
Thank
It
you.
does.
You know what I'm saying? How's it blasphemous?
You also said you were going to be the devil, so.
Yeah, but they didn't have any of
You know what you look like, which you could be training for? The traders.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, facts. Yeah, I'm still trying to get on the show. Producers on that, holla at me, man.
Alan Cummings.
I'm in that joint.
But yeah, I bought
That guy
I
gets
bought nun
fits
costumes.
off, too.
Oh, Alan?
Yeah.
Bro. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I always say there's one dude that makes fashion like really caught my eye. I forgot about cuz. What's his name?
Alan
Cumming.
That motherfucker can dress. That shit. I don't ever be envious of dudes' wardrobes, but that motherfucker, he got it going on.
I'm always excited when I'm like, what is this motherfucker going to be wearing now?
He be dressed to the nines, dog. That's why I don't. People like him are the reason why I don't take fashion seriously. It's because I could never do that, ever. I can't do it. So I was like,
How do you find that on Amazon?
Yeah, exactly.
I would like a really shiny outfit that makes me kind of look like a young ram.
This guy, he's got a very angular face too, which I feel like helps him pull off some of the crazy stuff that he wears, right? You have to
An
have a
aura
certain
about
look.
him
Yeah,
as
he's got
well.
aura
Yeah.
for sure.
He was the MC in Cabaret.
But if you're a blogger for like Catholic news right now, you gotta be over the moon. Like mock drafts, who's it gonna be?
It
Like
is-
who's their Mel Kiper?
It is mock draft season. I don't know who would be the Mel Kiper for the Catholic religion as a whole.
Pierce Morgan.
Dan Brown.
Dan Brown would be a
up
good
there,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be a guest
Fictitiously.
picker for sure.
Yeah.
So what they do is they get you in this room and then they hand out the paper ballots. So the two MCs hand out paper ballots, and the MCs are some of the non-cardinals that are allowed into the chapel. There's only a few of them. And the names of the 9 voting cardinals are chosen at random. 3 serve as scrutineers or voting judges to make sure that the ballot box retains its integrity. Who's the Steve Kornacki for Pope elections?
Yeah.
Do they have
Going up there.
Probably
All right,
just
so we got the
Kornacki.
archdiocese here.
Yeah, Baltimore's coming in right now. Baltimore historically has leaned Greek.
They're probably just going to make it Steve Kornacki
Probably Steve Kornacki.
because they had him doing NFL stuff.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
So the scrutineers are the voting judges. They collect the votes of any sick cardinals who remain in their quarters. And then if you're a cardinal, don't...
Get over yourself.
Get over yourself. I
Yeah.
agree, Chaps.
Get up,
This
you
is
fucking broke dick.
your one real job that you have is to elect your own boss.
Yeah.
You are staying next door. Just go into the fucking room and vote.
Take some
What if they-
Imodium
what
and
if
get
they-
in there
What
and
if it's
vote.
for preventative causes and they don't want the sick people to spread diseases?
You sound like the 2020 election here, Arian.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing mail-in ballots
yeah.
now.
We don't want no
Is that what we're
fucking
doing?
woke cardinals.
Do you have cardinal ID that you have to show?
Real cardinal ID.
Yeah, real cardinal ID.
Oh, but speaking of which, is true. I thought it was just like a rumor floating around. You have to go get your shit real
They're
ID,
finally,
or else you
they're
can't fly
finally
domestically.
doing it after. You know how I know we don't need real ID? Because that was supposed to happen in like 2005. And we've made it the last 20 years without it.
And
Right.
everything's been pretty good.
Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn,
I'm not a
Trump
big
administration,
Doge guy.
Boy, I tell you, right? Big
get
T?
rid of the TSA at the, like, 75% of TSA could go.
Yeah.
We still have to do our shoes. That was one time.
Mhm.
The Christmas shoe day bomber one time. And it's like, oh, well, now we have to do this. You have to take off your shoes
Well,
forever.
now you can do one interview and then you don't have to do your shoes
It
anymore.
makes no sense.
Yeah.
Just get rid
That's
of
true. Which I recently got TSA pre-check, and my God, is it so much better?
it. It's just so dumb to have to do that.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it.
Yeah, the shoe guy, we put in that rule because one guy tried to do it with his shoes.
Yeah.
And the time to have done that would be before he tried to do it with his shoes. And now it's like, if you're a shoe bomber and you're going to an airport, you're the dumbest terrorist on earth.
And I don't want to worry about
That-
what.
that-
sounds like
that
the,
person's
I found crack
stupider
in my
than-
pants guy.
Right, it's the crack guy all over again.
Oh, shit. How did I get this TNT in my shoes?
Wait, you're checking, I have to take my shoes off? Are you serious? So
Well, I mean, it might be a hot take, but I'm okay with the airport security. You know what? I'm totally fine with it. Like, I'm nervous as shit in the air already. I don't need to be like, yo, did we secure everybody else on here and make sure they don't got nothing on them? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with government overreach.
Especially since they only hire MIT grads to work at TSA.
yeah, that's nice. It's a nice bonus.
A lot of the TSA folks, like, there's some people that I went to high school with. There's a dude, his name is Randy, which should say a lot, that I went to high school with. TSA guy.
Randy from Florida.
Randy from Cantonment, Florida. Randy might be the dumbest person ever to live, and he's a supervisor for the TSA at Pensacola's International Airport.
Pensacola's International.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Where do
brother.
they go? Mexico?
It's got wherever's real close.
Yeah.
The closest place they go, because I think it is Mexico, actually.
That's probably
It's like
it.
flights back and forth to Cancun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy's seen it all.
Yeah.
All right, so at the conclave, what they do is they pass out these ballots. They're rectangle ballots, and it says "Eligo in summum pontificum," which is "I elect as the most high pontiff," and then the lower half of that piece of paper is completely blank. So after the non-cardinals, the ones who are the MCs, after they all leave, then the cardinals write their names down, write the names of their votes secretly, and they fold them twice. Very important. They fold them up twice. And then the cardinals walk to the altar. They hold up the ballot so everyone can see it, and they say out loud, "I call as my witness Christ the Lord, who will be my judge, that my vote is given to the one who before God I think should be elected." It's very ceremonial. He puts his ballot on a plate, and then they slide it into a receptacle, which is a large chalice. They have so many tools to do this. and they have to write the name legibly so you can use it.
I should just do that shit like Kung Fu Panda, dog. Master Oogway come out and just point at one of them motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
And then he leaves. That's the Pope. I thought it was going to point at me this time. So they are allowed to disguise their handwriting, so that no one can tell who the writing came from, but they have to have it legible. So the cardinals can legally break silence about the conclave after the fact, only if given express permission by the new pope to discuss what happened on the inside there. So I've also heard that in the first round of voting for the new pope, it's very ceremonial in that it's not a vote that will be taken that seriously. You can just like put your friend's name, and vote for him for pope, just so that officially your friend has a vote for pope.
Man, that would be so sick to have one tallied.
Yeah.
It's just a nice warm up.
It's a nice warm up. And you're like, yeah, you're in the stat sheet right now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of popes probably out there have.
You're not like Tony Snell.
Yeah. You have trillions. Like, you're in for 1 minute, but it's not a DNP. Did not pope. So once they cast the ballots, the scrutineer comes back in. They mix up the receptacle, and then he puts the ballots from the receptacle into a new urn. And he counts them, makes sure that it adds up to the electors. Then he reads the votes out loud. And then each of the 3 scrutineers look at the ballot one by one, and the last scrutineer calls out the name on the ballot so that everybody can write down. It's like when they looked at the votes in Florida and we're looking for hanging chads. Mm-hmm. You pass them around the table. Everyone agrees. You put it in a thing.
Scrutineer is a terrible name.
Scrutineer sucks. Yeah.
Sounds like a band from 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scrutineer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just an album title. The Last Scrutineer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Last Scrutineer takes each ballot and then he pierces it with a needle through the word eligo, and then he puts it on a thread so that they can be secured. After the names are read out, the votes are counted to see if someone gets the 2/3 majority that you need. You need to have 2/3 majority. Then they double check the work of the scrutineers for possible mistakes. Like, you didn't put the needle right through the word eligo. What are you doing here, buddy? And so then they burn the ballots immediately. They burn them to produce white smoke. When a pope has been elected, they are burned with damp straw to produce black smoke when no pope has been elected yet. So when you see from the outside black smoke, that's just the moist straw.
You have to give it to them. Like, I'm not Catholic, but the pomp and circumstance is next level.
Yes, they've got like 5 different receptacles that they transfer the pieces of paper to. Like, everything is very official there. It also seems like a lot to remember if you're a scrutineer.
God, can you imagine
they have to set all this up?
The process of them like giving you a briefing on how this is going to go, like how unbelievably boring that would be.
And yeah, exactly. Like, okay, so you make sure that they fold the paper twice. If they fold it once, it doesn't count.
And all these guys are 80.
Yeah. And you can't just put a rookie scrutineer in, right? There's definitely
no.
a training. You have to go through one as like.
It's like all business Pete type guys.
Yeah,
that's
deputy.
the scrutineer.
Yeah. There's like, you have to trust that the scrutineer knows the process. And so then once the Pope gets elected, he chooses a name and receives the obedience of the cardinals. Getting to pick your own name. You have to, you know how like some women, when they start dating a guy, they'll write down their first name and then their last name, like practice the signature. Mm-hmm. Be like, this could be the one. I could see this. Once you become a priest, you think like what your Pope name would be, right?
I don't know if you do it when you're a priest. You put on that bishop hat. You start practicing.
I feel like an innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, naming yourself innocent, that raises a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Milady doth protest too much.
Yeah. Pope, I didn't do it. Once the new Pope's elected, he chooses his new name. Then the senior cardinal deacon appears on the balcony and proclaims.
Time out. When they choose their new name, what does that mean? It means like they pick a whole nother name? Like,
yeah,
like Pope Francis's name wasn't Francis.
Okay, so this is all news to me. Like, they just randomly
like John Paul II is not John Paul II. Like all
they
pick
a name of a saint.
Names?
Yeah, so it's like Pope Francis named himself after Francis of Assisi.
Yeah.
So it's like a saint that they personally connect with, or a former pope that they.
Wow.
So like, yeah. So like all of the Pope names are saints.
Lil John.
Pope Lil John? I like that.
That'd be sick.
There's the last Pope, Pope Francis. I think he canonized something like 800 saints, which is a crazy number. And then you look into it, some of these numbers are a bit Mickey Mouse. So he canonized like 700 people at once from that they existed like hundreds of years ago. They were in a big group. He's like, they're all saints right now. So when you look at his lifetime, if you get a Pope Francis trading card and you see on the back his number of canonizations, just know like it's the juice ball era.
Mother Teresa numbers?
Mother
like
Teresa.
Biden signed pardons on his way out.
Exactly. Do you know what Mother Teresa did? She would just like go into a hospital and just be like bless, save, you're Catholic, you're Catholic, you're Catholic, you're Catholic. And then she counted those in her lifetime stats of conversions.
I love it.
Also kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Big piece of shit.
Yep.
So the
maybe the best like social media team.
Yeah.
great marketing
Man,
team.
yeah.
So the cardinal deacon goes on the balcony, says, Habemus Papam, we have a pope. And then the new pope comes out and he delivers his first blessing to the city and the world, marking the beginning of a new papal era. So it's a lot of pomp and circumstance.
What is Habemus for what?
Habemus Papam.
You know who should say that? Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Habemus
Papam. From 1268 to 1271, we didn't have a pope. There was a 3-year gap without a pope before they got Gregory the 10th in.
Stop the count.
Yeah, so that's why everybody was like, why we got to figure out a way to streamline this, because we can't just have 3 years with no pope. And then Gregory the 10th said that all future transitions would start with the conclave to avoid a 3-year gap. And so since then, it's been much, much shorter. The longest conclave in the 20th century only lasted for 5 days. So they've got it down to a pretty
Was that
good
John
process.
Paul II?
I don't know which one that was. It's not listed here, but yeah, it's they've been able to cut down quite a bit on it. So 20,000 people swarmed the 1378 conclave in Rome. It was like their January 6th. There were 20,000 people. There were peasants who traveled from the countryside to voice their opinion on the future of the papacy. And when they convened, there was a debate about whether the Pope should be in France or in Rome. Mm-hmm. They thought maybe Avignon was a better location for the Pope, because the Pope had been in Avignon since 1309, because the French king wanted to exert his dominance over the Catholic Church.
Stephen, right?
The French king?
Mm-hmm.
There was a King Stephen in France?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. It could be. But the crowd was screaming out, "We want a Roman Pope, or at least an Italian, or else you will die."
At least an Italian.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Listen, at the very least, he should be Italian.
It should be Italian.
He should be Italian.
We want that at Roma, but at least the Italia.
See, I feel like everything that you say, if it's like that and you give it an Italian accent, it's not nearly as menacing.
Well, what about this one? There was a heckler at this big demonstration, 20,000 people swarming the conclave. One person shouted out, "If you cardinals don't give us a one, we will make your heads as red as your hats."
See, that's not bad.
Yeah, you're right. Like
it makes it so much
he's saying
lighter.
Like, I'm going to hit you in the head with a fucking 2x4 unless you make this Pope Italian. But when you say as red as your hats, it's much more, it's almost romantic. Yeah. So they tried to get the mob to disperse. The cardinals pretended that they elected an old, feeble Italian cardinal because they had him stand at the window. And they're like, you just go outside until the crowd goes away. And so everybody was like, we got our Italian. And they're like, no. And then the cardinals went back inside and elected Bartolomeo Prignano. He was the Archbishop of Bari, and he took the name Urban VI. The cardinals assumed that he was going to agree to resign immediately after things calmed down. He was a stunt pope. But they did kind of elect him. So they're like, once everything settles down, you agree that you will not be pope anymore, right? This is a sham conclave. And then they could elect whoever they wanted to. And then Urban just decided not to resign. And
Pope Biden the first.
Pope Biden the first.
Yeah.
And then he flew into a bunch of violent rages. And he was like, you don't trust me. And he declared the papacy vacant, and in his place they elected the Cardinal of Geneva, who took on the name Clement VII. And then for the next 40 years, there were 2 popes, even 3 popes, until the Council of Constance formalized the authority of a single pope. So for a while, yeah, multiple head guys.
I think King Stephen was actually in England,
Yeah.
like 1100.
Stephen sounds more like a British name, I think.
Yeah, thing is, yeah.
Stefan.
But that's when they were talking about. That was when they first started talking about having 2 different popes,
Yeah.
which is how they ended up with the Archbishop of Canterbury having so much power. It was
Interesting.
like a compromise.
I did not know that. You have been allowed to bet on the Pope going back a long time. In 1503, you could bet on the Pope. Pope Gregory the Fourth was mad because in 1591 he threatened anybody who bet on the Pope race to be excommunicated. But more than 15 million was wagered in 2013 when Pope Francis was elected. That's the world's most bet upon non-sporting event of all time. How about that?
I wonder if DraftKings will have anything.
I don't think that they do. But we'll see.
Like how many rounds would be fun?
Oh, that'd be electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will there be a unanimous vote?
Yeah.
You have over 13 and a half, and they're on the 11th.
Yeah.
And then the white smoke comes out.
Yeah.
You could probably even do
yeah.
Terrible
bracket.
beat.
Like, is it going to come out? Which diocese is it going to come out of?
Yeah.
Where are they going to be from? Because I think the big deal with this last one was first one from South America,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I think that they're maybe first American Pope.
It's a possibility.
They're talking about a guy from St. Louis,
Yeah.
Stephen Che gets pissed off.
the
He's
St.
like,
Louis Cardinal.
give me a stat correction. That smoke it's gray. It's not, you can't say that's white smoke. So in 1903, actually, let's go back to 1605. 1605, there were a bunch of cardinals. They wanted Cesare Baronius, and there was another group of cardinals that wanted Domenico Tosco, and they got really heated. They started fighting each other, and you could hear it outside. And one of the cardinals, Cardinal Visconti, was an old dude, and he got a bunch of his bones broken in the fight. And in the end, they chose someone both sides agreed on, Carmelo Borghese, who became known as Paul V. And in 1623, they elected Pope Urban VII, and that was briefly delayed by a swarm of bees that flew in. At that point, whoever is like the leading vote getter, you got to stop and be like, we're going down the wrong path right now.
Oh, yeah.
Like if there's a swarm of bees that came in, like it's a spring training game where we got to find the queen. So yeah, bees all flew into the conclave, and the pope that they ended up electing, Barberini, on his family crest was the bee. The insects took the shape of the papal tiara, a divine message to the cardinals, picks or it didn't happen, according to Mike, who put together this research. But this was, I would have gone the other way. I would have said, like, this is a bad omen. But instead, they were like, the bees are, we must listen to the bees.
I don't think I elect the bee guy.
Yeah, I don't think I would either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he literally has a stinger. In 1903, there was a conclave. Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph vetoed the leading candidate, Cardinal Mariano Rampolla. He said the emperor used the right of the exclusion, or res exclusive, to block Rampolla's election. So this right allowed certain Catholic monarchs to veto a candidate for the papacy. He didn't say why he vetoed him, but the theory is that Rampolla didn't support a Catholic funeral for the emperor's son because he took his own life, which was believed to be a sin. And several people speculated that this was because his son committed suicide. That was an author that has written about the conclave. But you can apparently just be like, one guy can be like, I'm going to use my veto on that guy. I'm going to take him off the board.
I like that.
Kind of crazy that they've kept it to 5 days
Undraftable.
with vetoes.
I do feel like people talk before the sequester.
Yeah.
People talk. You have your votes.
It's like
kinda
surviving
lined up.
Barstool. Everybody goes in there with their alliances already.
It's a lot like that, yeah.
Which is
And Arian
bullshit.
gets screwed.
In 1492,
Fucking Maria.
the,
I'm just
The church-
playing, man. All love, kind of.
the church was
You have
getting...
to say it in an Italian accent, so it's not offensive.
I'm not a good
Fucking
Italian.
Maria.
It's a Maria.
Mamma
There
mia.
you go. Yeah, hold me down. My accents are kind of shaky. I can't even lie.
So in 1492, a lot of the cardinals were getting rich. They had a lot of money to throw around, and the elections started to be bought. Big money, dark money was coming into the papacy elections.
BlackRock.
Yes, exactly. So at the Conclave of 1492, there was a Cardinal Rodrigo Borgia that was determined.
Now, that's a fire name for a pope.
Rodrigo Borgia?
That shit just sound hard, don't it? It's like you don't want to fuck with that one.
But that couldn't be his pope name.
They couldn't. He would have to. I would change. I
I'm
would
talking
choose
about
Borgia.
another. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so now,
Yeah.
if he's Pope what is it?
Pope Francis.
Francis.
R.I.P.
No, I'm saying what's the dude's name? I already forgot it. Borgia.
The guy that you just
Borgia. Rodrigo Borgia.
Like right now, if a pope gets ordained and then says that's his name, cold.
I wonder what the guideline is for that. Like what you can pick.
I think it probably a saint, right?
It's got to be after somebody that's a saint.
I believe it is a saint.
Yeah.
If you're the pope, you can
'Cause
do what
all
you
of
want,
them-
right? Who's gonna tell you no?
Make him a saint and then do it.
But now
Right.
that I say that, I'm all of the popes I can think of were named after saints. I am now going to Conclave, the movie. Is Saint Innocent a saint?
I don't know.
You know, that might be movie.
If I was the Pope, I would, before I died, I would canonize Dick Trickle. So that if you wanted to, a future Pope could be
Pope Dick Trickle.
Pope Dick Trickle, yeah.
Yeah.
Popes
great.
typically choose a new name when they become pontiff, although it's not required by canon law.
yeah.
This practice started in the 6th century, is usually done to honor a saint, a previous pope, or to make a statement about their papacy. While there are no official criteria, names often reflect a connection to a saint, predecessor, or a message about their intentions, as seen in Pope Francis's choice.
So
Drew
this
Brees.
guy, Pope Drew Brees,
Pope John David Booty.
yeah, this guy Borgia was determined to become the next Pope, and so he brought in 4 mule loads of silver, worth 10,000 ducats a year, just to try to bribe this one guy, Ascancio Sforza. And then there was they said that there was Borgia money swimming all over town while the election was going on, and Borgia was selected, and he was chosen, and he took on the name Pope Alexander VI.
Pope Musk.
Yeah, he just had a bunch shitload of mules walking around town weighed down with silver. In 1655, the College of Cardinals was worn out, and there was a group of reform-minded cardinals. They called themselves the Flying Squad, and they were going up against the Barberini bloc that was led by relatives of Pope Urban VIII, who was a big nepotism guy. The only obstacle to reforming the Curia was the apparent paucity of candidates untainted by corruption. So they said, we need an honest man, and everybody was surprised because the unofficial leader of this squadron, Decio Azzolino, looked at some guy that was just in the room, like a random cardinal, Fabio Chigi, and said, if you want an honest man, there stands one. And nobody noticed that Chigi was there, and they couldn't find any other honest alternative, and he got elected. So they just pointed at some random dude that nobody knew in the room. It was like, if you're looking for an honest dude, Chigi's your guy. And he's like, what, the me?
It's a me, a Chigi.
It's a me, Chigi. And everybody was like, sure, I guess we'll go along with that. There was, in 1799, Napoleon's invasion of Italy made them flee Rome, and they were in Venice. And they did the Conclave of 1799 outside of Rome. It was the last one to happen, not in the city. So because of the invasion from Napoleon, there were only 34 cardinals there. And then they got locked out of St. Mark's Basilica when they refused to accept the Austrian emperor's preferred candidate. And then when they had a compromise and wanted Barnaba Luigi Chiaramonti, the cardinals were upset about the previous claim that good Christians could also be good Democrats. And then
Still having that debate
to this very day. And so instead of doing like the fancy hat and the robes and all that, they had to make a paper mache tiara in a tiny church and give it to the new pope. They're like, here you go. This is your official pope hat. That's got to be disappointing because if you want to be pope, most of the reasons got to be for the hat, right?
Oh, yeah. You love those hats if you want to be a pope.
Yeah, you've been waiting all your life to put the cool hat on, and then they give you paper mache. I'd be pissed.
I
I'd
bet
be like,
that thing's uncomfortable.
It's probably hard to keep balanced on the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
It's super tall. I imagine
Hot.
heavy.
Because they don't have, St. Peter's doesn't have air conditioning.
That's true, yeah. I mean, no, that's also crazy to think about is no place had air conditioning until recently. Like, people were living out in Arizona with no AC.
Not well. They
Not
weren't living well.
They were smelly.
Mm-hmm.
So there used to be this thing called the Camerlengo. It was a cardinal that meant Chamberlain. And the Camerlengo would use a silver hammer and tap the Pope's forehead 3 times to ascertain if he's alive when the Pope dies. So they stopped doing that in 1878 because Pius IX died. But that's a strange way to check and see if somebody's still alive, to hit him on the head with a hammer.
How hard do you think you hit him?
I don't know. I feel like that's a good way to check and make sure somebody's make sure that they're dead. Maybe not make sure that they're alive.
Camerlengo is the bad guy in Angels and Demons.
Interesting.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen
The
it.
Chamberlain. Also, it's just some fun facts. They have chairs with a large hole cut in the seat, and they used to think that they were used to check the sex of the new pope. So the scandal of Pope Joan was a female cardinal, and allegedly she was elected pope in the 14th century. Now, some people think that it's not an actual thing, but they do have the chairs that are held in museums, but we don't know why they have these chairs with the bottoms cut in. One theory is that they were used to check to make sure that the new pope had not been castrated yet, if they were like in the choir. But yeah, there was a chair. Yet.
Wait, they did that? Like, if you're pope, you have to get
Oh,
castrated?
no. I'm saying, like, if you were raised in the Roman church and you were a castrata or you were like singing in the choir,
Mm-hmm.
they would cut your balls off to make sure that you would not be able to develop a low voice.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, so that you could have
Just so you could sing high?
Yeah, that was the big reason for it.
That feels a bit unnecessary.
It does. It feels like, yeah, maybe just let them develop a singing voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until 2005, the cardinals used to live in these tiny cells close to the Sistine Chapel during the sequester. They would sleep on shitty beds, and they had chamber pots. So they would piss and shit into these pots up until just 20 years ago. Then Pope John Paul II constructed a 5-story, 130-room guest house. That's quite the undertaking. He's like, yeah, I'm doing some renovations. We're adding in toilets for the first time. You guys will enjoy that. But the director of the Vatican Museum said that I believe they may be installing portable chemical toilets inside the chapel. So those got put in. So apparently they don't have to shit and piss in a pan. I think this should be more like training camp. I think they should be a little bit uncomfortable.
If you're not willing to shit in a pot, you shouldn't be voting for Pope. Like, you have to make a little bit of a sacrifice.
Imagine being one of the cardinals. Oh, you're let's say you live in St. Louis, like the American guy this time, whatever. You have to fly across the world, and you're going there for a week, 2 weeks, I don't know how long. Maybe they're there now. They're there this whole like 3-week period, and you have no chance of becoming pope. You can't use a bathroom for 3 weeks. I mean, that's terrible.
What the fuck does this have to do with talking to God, bro? Like, why? What the fuck is this?
I love how most of this stuff came century after Christ died. They're like, we just got to have more rules.
Yeah.
We need more rules in this thing.
Christ has been dead for 1,000 years. You know what I was thinking? You should have to sit in this chair and let your balls hang down. We should all take a look at your balls.
They should use that chair.
Yeah, the yellow one?
The yellow chair.
It's actually a great use for it. But yeah, just
ball chair.
We want to see some old, droopy, elderly balls hanging through the bottom of this chair.
Yeah.
Just there's no other way that we can be totally sure. So let's see those nuts. Also, J.D. Vance has commented on being the last person to meet with the Pope. He said it's pretty crazy. He said, I thought about that. It's pretty crazy, actually. Obviously, when I saw him, I didn't know that he had less than 24 hours still on this earth. I think it was a great blessing. But, you know, he saw a lot of people. He affected a lot of lives. And I try to remember that I was lucky just to shake his hand. we were talking about this on Monday, Chaps, but the adult converts to Catholicism, it's a very strange choice to make.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been to several masses, and there's nothing about a mass that you would go to and be like, this is so fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just had a blast there. If you're born into the church, you probably, you acknowledge the traditions as being important, but I don't think that anybody has like a great time. Like, do the endorphins hit? Do you get a dopamine rush?
I bet you do.
You think
actually.
so?
Yeah, I think that there is something to be said about the religion. That's what it does for people, I think, is makes them feel a certain way, like feel connected to something. So I would imagine if that like level of community or like contentment, if you haven't been content for a while and you find that through a philosophy, I can imagine that being a very freeing feeling.
The philosophy I would agree with.
Maybe not fun, but at peace. I think there's something to be said for somebody who, like J.D. Vance, for example. I know his conversion story is 2019 when his mom was really struggling, going through a lot, and he converted to Catholicism. I think that there's something to said to finding peace through religion rather than fun.
That's fair.
Great take by you, man.
Great take by Chaps. But yeah, he says it's pretty crazy that he met the Pope right before he died. It is crazy that was he the last person, like last employee or member of the Pope's inner circle to see him? I think he probably was.
He gave a sermon after it, right? Didn't he do a sermon after his last sermon? I mean, but if you're the Pope, dude, and you go out on Easter Sunday, that's the way you draw it up.
I agree, Chaps, but I think this guy died on Monday, like just hours into Monday. Because I saw one article that said he died on Easter Monday.
Yeah, I saw the 21st.
Yeah, which is that
you can't make up a term.
You can't.
Nope. Like, you got to figure out a way to say that where it's essentially the same thing without saying Easter Monday. You said that his last duty was to oversee Resurrection Sunday for the church, and once that was finished, so was his time on this earth.
This, ironically...
Wasn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It makes me trust the Catholic Church more that they're officially saying that he died on Monday. How easy would that have been for them to be like, yeah, he died at 11:50 p.m.
Yeah, right after he came in and gave the service, he croaked.
On Sunday. If you want to really like glaze a pope, that's the way that you send them out.
Do you think being the Pope would be fun? Like, that would be a fun job to have?
No.
I kind of think it would.
I think it... I mean, there's no... Like, you don't have the stressful responsibilities of, like, a president. Like, obviously, you have a very important role, but you're not dealing day-to-day with,
really,
like...
you're just a mascot. You don't really do shit for real.
I feel like it's not the same thing, but I'm sure Arian will understand. When you're a player and you went to a high school or you went to like an elementary school and you walk in and the kids' faces just beam, that's got to be one of the best perks about being a professional athlete. I would imagine it's that way times 1,000 billion for the Pope.
People just cry.
Like, you walk into a spot and they're like, even as a cardinal, you have relative obscurity.
Yeah.
But when you're the Pope and you walk into a hospital and people really think that they could live because you're there, the level of humility that you would have to constantly remind yourself to so you just wouldn't be the biggest asshole on earth has got to be wild.
Yeah, I think that it is, and it's different from being president, but it's also a lot of pressure, I think. Because,
for sure.
Like, what, 1 billion people are counting on you to decide how they should live their lives so that they can get into heaven?
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
I mean, one of my favorite stories ever, and it didn't even make the show. Like, he said it after. I had the former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, on ZBT, and we went out to eat one time, and I was asking him what was some of the best things that you got to do in your position, and he said, number one, easy by miles, is going to the Vatican and staying in St. Peter's, staying where the Pope stays, and having dinner with him. And he was like, I was the Speaker of the House, like one of the 3 most powerful people in American government. And I was so nervous with every step that I took in the place.
Yeah.
And he said we had, I don't know if he wants me to say this publicly, fuck it. So they had like this big meal at St. Peter's. And when he was going back, the bubble guts hit him, like while he was there at the Vatican.
Damn.
and he said that he was going back to where like the guests stay, but it's inside the Vatican, which doesn't have a whole lot. There only 800 people live there year round, so there's not a whole lot. But he was actually staying like in the Vatican, and he said it hit him, and he didn't want to ask anybody where the bathroom was because they would stay. Because everywhere you go, you have like an escort, except for around like this rose garden. So he was trying to go back and find a place. The Speaker of the House, sitting Speaker of the House, took a shit in the rose garden of the Vatican where no one could see him.
That's awesome.
And when he was telling the story, my jaw was like, oh my, because he is like Catholic.
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't want to do it. I didn't know what else I could possibly have done.
Did he like scramble to try to clean it up or like move around some
I don't
mulch?
remember the details, and it might not have even been in the rose. I know he either shit his pants or shit the rose bushes outside of St. Peter's Basilica where the Pope
What's
was
worse?
staying. I honestly think shitting in the roses is worse. I feel like you have to maintain as much discipline as you possibly
It's
can.
a worse thing to do, but it's less bad to have happen.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose, I would pick shitting in the bushes for sure. Because then you're walking around the Vatican and all those, like, you can't really even put a worth on some of the things that are in there with shit in your pants.
Yeah, can't happen.
No, you can't. I mean, they got what they say is the bones of St. Peter underneath.
That's unreal that he did that.
Yeah.
What a funny story. I'm also like
one of the best. If you ever you should reach out and get him on this show.
He doesn't give a fuck anymore, right?
Dude, he doesn't care at all. Like when we were, if you go back to the ZBT and listen to just the audio, it sounds like a Lil Wayne like track because it's so much lighter of him smoking cigarettes. It's like every 2 seconds doing that. He's a great storyteller. Cries. He loves to cry.
He's a big weed guy too now, right?
Big weed guy. Doesn't use it, but this is kind of actually fucked up. He was really against it when he was speaker. There was things that were going through the House, like different bills of people trying to make it legalized. And he was the one that was like, no, I'm not even going to bring it to the floor, which he could do as speaker.
Yeah.
And then when he left the speakership, he got involved in the cannabis industry and has made millions from it.
All right. All right. Well, that was the conclave. Chaps, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
There's one other thing I forgot to mention earlier in the show. There's a bit of news coming out of MAGA world that might turn a lot of lefties into Trump supporters if it's real. Steve Bannon, the advisor to the president, he's said a lot of stuff, a lot of it not true, some of it true, has said that Trump's considering huge tax increases for the wealthiest and tax cuts for the lower middle class. Like, I think the number I saw was over $5 million a year. Bannon is saying Trump is thinking about taxing the fuck out of those people. I will believe that when I see it. It doesn't seem to be in line with anything that he's ever done before. I don't know why he would be like leaking this news.
Or said.
What's up?
I said, doesn't seem like anything he has said in the bed is not in concordance with the things that he's said.
Yeah, I'll say I'm still waiting for, he's probably going to call it, let's see, MAGA Care. Remember the healthcare plan that he was going to come out with in 2 weeks?
Yeah. Still waiting on that, baby.
Yeah. So I will believe this tax cut when I see it. But
now Bannon said this?
Yes.
And Bannon is for it?
Yeah, apparently. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I'm saying I want to understand the root of it because
that would upend essentially all of Republican economics for the last like 60 years.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, the thing is, I feel like Republicans, they kind of have to go along with whatever Trump says right now. I think a lot of them would be like, okay.
Industry plant? You think it's an industry plant? Hey.
Maybe it might be a trial balloon.
If we end up with a high tax rate for the ultra wealthy in this country and free healthcare at the end of it all, I would say
then what do you say about Trump?
I'll say it's all worth it, and what a brilliant play.
What would you say he's the GOAT?
The greatest president of all time?
I mean, you always said anybody who does that
You said I'm the greatest president of all time. He would be in the conversation. Absolutely, yeah.
What if this was all a work? Like behind the scenes, he's making his own documentary. And he's like, I'm going to go out there. I have to be an asshole to the libs again today. I got to do it.
I have to admit, if everything that he's doing, he does the opposite now, I'd be for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
I admit it.
Yeah.
I have to take your hat
I
off.
agree.
I would need some more solid proof that this is happening before I jump on board.
But yeah, if he goes the opposite way of things that he's
on
done,
record
I'd be
saying,
all
that,
in.
yo, any president that's for free healthcare, I'm absolutely gonna vote for. So, and I'll be a proponent of, absolutely. So, if I don't got no problems with Trump per se. I don't know, but his policies have been ass in my opinion. And
you're saying you like him as a person, but the politics.
Yeah.
I think I would like him. Sure, like he's funny, he's charismatic, he got jokes. Sure, I don't agree with him on policy. He's like Big T, you know what I'm saying? He's probably a little more charismatic than Big T though. And he said, I like Big T.
Probably better teammate on the dozen, Big T. I'll tell you that.
I guess we'll see.
Electric.
They haven't heard that yet.
No.
Oh yeah. Well, they saw if you watched it.
They will now.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I am. I'm just gonna say, like, if Trump's trying to own the libs, maybe the best way to own the libs, just become one.
That would put me in an absolute blender.
Yeah,
It puts everyone in a blender.
the libs would be the most owned they could be.
That would be a move that would unite the country.
Not just, but it wouldn't be just the libs. It would be everybody.
Yeah, he would own all.
Everybody's like immediately going to their Twitter, like get rid of anything that says Reaganomics right now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. This would unite the country because Trump's fan base just do whatever and go along with what he says. If all of a sudden he's like, let's do free healthcare, they're like, free healthcare. I'm like, this will unite all of us.
I think you could say if that happened, it would be the biggest party shift within a party, maybe ever in America.
Yeah,
I actually
he likes making a splash.
I disagree, Arian. I think it would be like you say, the entire Republican Party is beholden to Trump now.
Yeah.
I think if he started doing shit like that, that would be what would reverses it.
You can't though. That's been my whole premise. Is
but it would be him doing it.
The
not-
donors behind it would
what I'm
not
saying
be like
Yeah.
into it.
There is
Elon
no
would
reversing
freak
it
out.
now.
The
Like,
Koch brothers would be
there-
like,
yeah.
yeah, right, bitch.
That's what I'm saying. There's no reversing out because like the shit that he does is so outlandish. Some of the shit he does is so outlandish that it's just laughable. Some of the shit you gotta laugh at. But there's people who back it. You can't not back it if you're in his like little cult. I don't want to say cult. I don't want to disrespect anybody who's Trump. But if you're in his little,
But that's what I'm
conclave.
saying. No, nobody will go against him right now. But if he does something that's so antithetical to like very mainstream Republican principles, then like now he is the one that has gone against the MAGA coalition, I guess, not someone having to go against him.
Advocating for gay rights is against mainstream Republican thought.
I don't agree that that's necessarily true.
You're not serious. Stop it.
What do you mean when you say gay rights?
Marriage equality.
I believe that is polls very highly
Republicans
among
fought that
Republicans.
for decades.
30 years ago.
No,
dude.
no.
There's
Two
things
election
in the
cycles ago,
Utah
brother.
House right now. They're trying to bring it back.
I think in the electorate,
I mean, I'm really trying to avoid politics, like talking and content. But like Clarence Thomas even said that was a ruling that they should look into, overturning it.
I'm sure there are some who say, I think in the
Supreme Court
electorate,
justice is pretty big.
Brother,
sure. I think
but-
in the electorate, a pretty solid majority of Republicans are in favor of gay marriage.
That's because that's what
Okay.
the people are.
In terms of the United States as a whole, according to a poll that I'm looking at right now, it looks like 46% of self-identifying conservatives believe in legalized same-sex marriage.
Only 29% opposed it.
Mm-hmm. Well, how can you not have an opinion on that? Like either you want it or you don't.
Because there's gay
Right.
Republicans. So you don't want to upset part of your constituency. But there are some people who are so beholden to their faith that they'll step on a line and say this is abhorrent.
I actually think I tend to
I mean,
agree with Arian. I think if you're a diehard Trump fan, and you just a lot of diehard Trump fans, let's face it, they just like the guy. They
they like that he stirs shit up. They love that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
he stirs
they
shit
lo-
up.
triggering people. But to be clear, real quick, Big T, I don't. This is not just a Republican thing. Democrats in 2008 were advocating for the same thing. It's not just a Republican thing, but the Democrats were in politics the first ones to lead the I guess fight for gay rights. But in 2008, Obama was on a stage talking about some
for sure,
and Joe Biden. So it's not just
Hillary said it in 2008 when she was going against him too, like that. She thought it was an established law, like all kinds of shit.
I don't know what they actually believe. They might have just been too big of pussies to bring it up and be like, yeah, I believe that two people of the same sex should be allowed to get married.
The classic line of the country's not there yet.
What is it called? Where you're kind of you forget the near past. There's a word for it.
Hindsight,
like when we was going to college, PFT, gayness was very much not accepted. Like it was not a cool thing. Well, I don't say cool, but it was not accepted in the public eye like that. And even like for the 90s, it was. I mean, shit. In the 90s, in the 80s there was the HIV scare, and that was directly tied to the gay community, and like it was very recent.
Dude, Ellen had to they basically acted like Ellen coming out was like the biggest news in the history of the world.
Yeah,
like she had to stop her show.
Yeah, everybody was like, "You're so brave. This is incredible."
Yeah,
we have to find out.
Ended up having to stop it anyway.
Yeah,
true.
Wait, are you telling me that there's a gay actor?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute.
This changes everything.
Not the guy from Will and Grace?
Stop forcing it on my kids.
Yeah. I mean, this would
Pedro on Real World. Remember that?
Yes, I do. Yeah. That was a big to do.
Shout out Puck and his snot rockets.
Oh God, that was fucking gross. I don't think that he's actually going to do this. But if he does,
no shot. That
would be so entertaining.
There's no shot. I mean, if he does though, I will be happy man.
He's like, you know, the way to make America great, like let's go back to the tax rates of the 1950s.
Yeah.
When America had, like, if you look it up, America's economy grew more in the 1950s than I think any other decade by percentage. And it was when we had a 90% marginal tax rate on the wealthy making over, I want to say like the equivalent of...
It's like $4 million or something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around like $3 or $4 million. So it's not like the government was taking 90% of your $4 million, if that's what you were making. But every dollar that you made over $4 million was taxed at 90%.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually think
middle
Trump,
class in
that was
American
the FDR
history.
plan.
Was that FDR that put that in?
Yeah.
So that was when America's economy was actually at its best. If you look at like a thriving middle class and economic expansion, obviously the world is a lot different right now.
FDR did it on the justification of the cost of World War II, and then it gradually started to decrease with Ike. When it started to go down. Yeah.
What if you brought that back? That would be a wild. I mean, you would see like complete party realignment. I would think.
I do think this is how it has to end. Y'all love Trump and I hate him. That he's such a wild card that's how it has to end.
If there ever was an author of the simulation that we're living in, this would be a beautiful script.
Series finale.
Oh my God, this would be season 10. Let's wrap this shit up where we re-switch the parties. I'm with
M. Night Shyamalan.
Wouldn't be the first time it's happened.
Yep.
Whoa.
Party switch.
Let's not go there, chaps.
Okay, sorry. My mistake.
Arian, if he becomes a socialist, I'll give you my signed MAGA hat.
I'll wear that shit. Let's do it. Bring
All
back
right.
the marginal tax rate to 90% again.
Real convenient that you no longer get those Texans checks and you're wanting that now.
Yeah.
Might have been different when that bonus was coming in.
You'd be wrong, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it'd been like this.
All right. Well, we're gonna get into some dozen talk here in a second. So the dozen, it's spawned a civil war on this podcast. But before we get into talking about the dozen and the brewing anger, I don't know if I want to say anger, the disagreement, but frustration is bubbling over between Mad Dog and Big T. It's being brought to you by Game Time. Big T, would you mind logging on to Game Time real quick?
What are you looking for?
I am going to be in the barn on Friday night in Montreal.
Wow.
The Washington Capitals at the Canadiens. My good buddy Oldie the Canadian is going to be showing me around Montreal. I know he's from Ontario, but he's going to be showing me around Montreal, taking me some poutine places, and we're going to the Bell Center. So if you want to get into a hockey game this weekend, in the hockey playoff season, the best way to get the hard-to-get playoff tickets is Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. You got last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their low-price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NFL playoff ticket or NHL playoff tickets. The prices on the app go down the closer it gets to puck drop. You can save up to 60% when buying last-minute tickets. That's 60%. And if you're looking at tickets for the Bell Center, Big T, it's going to be pretty expensive, I would imagine.
Yeah,
right?
because they're very fired up about Montreal being in the playoffs, but I can still get you in for $188.
That's a pretty good deal for Montreal.
And then if you're in Washington, if you want to go tonight, $69.
$69 to get in. Love that. Great price. Take all the guesswork out of buying NHL playoff tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code MACRO, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So create that account, redeem code MACRO. Get $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game Time.
Real quick.
Yep.
Just want to clear the air real quick. Maddie, Big T. y'all ain't got no problems, do you?
No.
No.
Good?
I think during the dozen, Madeline goes into a hyper
Competitive
state. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Can you play the clip?
Yes. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Because I saw the tweet earlier today, but I did not click on it, so I haven't.
Big T was being annoying and being mean during the dozen.
I disagree with that assessment.
Which is where our disagreement lies. And I was very upset about it. And
well, can you clarify what happened instead of just saying I was being mean?
Well, I can go through like 5 things that happened in that match, but I will not. But the reason I snapped,
you should.
I could literally go through Big T.
I'm asking you to.
Okay, wait.
We may have a problem. We may have a problem.
Y'all don't have no problems, do you?
Let me just reset this whole thing, and we can have this discussion like gentlemen and gentle ladies.
What a moderator.
So on the dozen, which is the Barstool Trivia Show, Macrodosing, we have a team. It is Big T, it is Mad Dog, and it is Arian. And during the last episode, apparently Mad Dog got a little upset at Big T. But Mad Dog, you're saying that this is something that during the show had been building up, and there are team rivalries and discussions and disagreements that happen sometimes. It's a pressure cooker situation. So
it is.
Mad Dog, what did Big T say that sent you down this path?
That made me snap?
At first. What were the things that he was doing?
The first thing in the whole match that started to strike a nerve was in round 2 Celebrity Mashup, when I did not know the answer, and that happens, and I said we should call Gia, my good friend at Barstool, who also happens to know a lot of celebrities. I said, let's call Gia. Big T said no, even though TJ Hitchings, who was on the other team, said, I know the answer. And I said, in order to combat TJ getting the answer right and stealing, why don't we call Gia, who knows these things, yada, yada.
Knows TJ, too.
No, quite well.
Mm-hmm.
It's little sister of Fran, who is the Celebrity Mashup Queen. Big T denied my request. TJ stole it.
If TJ said, I know the answer, I didn't hear that. I would like to go back and watch that. But I would also say
he did
that a strategic, like saving the call a friend is not being mean.
I didn't say that was the mean part.
Well, you just
said this is the start of it.
You can go through 5 things where I was mean.
Well, I know. I said that you can go through 5 things where I get upset.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can't control you being upset. Right, I can control me being mean.
Denied the phone a friend. That is a issue that is in-game strategy. That's up to the captain's judgment.
It is.
Sometimes these things happen.
But it then was coupled with, and no offense to Arian, and I'm assuming his lovely baby mama. But literally the next question.
At times, yeah.
Yeah. But literally the next question was geography, and we don't have KB's number. So we didn't know the answer to the geography question.
You have my number.
Are you a huge geography guy?
I like to think I am. What was the question?
It was, do you know the
these two border countries, And the capitals.
It's these capitals border each other. What are the two countries?
Yeah.
It was Warsaw and Vilnius or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know those two?
I've got it down to 2, I believe.
Okay, you can double sip. Presented by New Amsterdam Vodka.
Okay.
I might have it down to 3.
You can even triple sip.
I'll do a double sip.
Okay.
Sip that shit, dog.
Okay, Belarus.
No.
Okay.
Well, you have to have 2 answers.
Yeah. Belarus was the first one.
Okay.
Do I have?
Well, you have to know both countries. It's Warsaw and Vilnius.
Right. So Poland is one of them.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And then the other is Lithuania.
You were correct.
Okay.
So
real quick,
I was between Estonia and Lithuania. Didn't know.
I want to play this celebrity thing because if TJ said he knows the answer, I didn't hear that.
Real quick.
did.
To be fair, on our caller phone, whatever.
Well, I didn't even get to that part yet.
I called my baby mama.
Yes.
She did not answer.
Also true.
My daughter later called me that day, and I was like, "Yo, your mom around?" She said, "Yeah." I was like, "Yo, I hit you up. I was on this game show." She's like, "Oh, my bad. My phone's on 1%, and I couldn't answer. I was at this thing." I was like, "No worries." She's like, "What did you need?" I was like, "Told her I was on a game show, and that you from over there." She's like, "Oh, what was the question?" Told her the question. She got that shit. Bop bop.
Wow.
So I knew she knew.
So tell me why that was bad of me.
Because I just think that, and again, no offense to Arian's baby mama. I mean this in the most complimentary way. But I'm saying that you didn't take my request for a seemingly normal, and logical phone a friend of let's call Gia, who's extremely good at celebrity mashup. And you said no, but then Arian mentioned someone who is not on record knowing world capitals, and you said, yeah, let's go ahead.
First of all, he said she would know it. Secondly,
I said that Gia would know.
Okay,
I said that Gia would know my celebrity mashup.
And I said I opted to save it maybe for something later. I also thought it'd be kind of funny when he said my baby mama would know it. I was like, that's kind of funny. Yeah, call her.
I also thought it would be kind of funny to call Gia due to her relationship with TJ.
Okay,
So what I'm
we
hearing-
didn't do
what
that,
I'm
but
hearing
that's
is
not me being mean though.
Big
I'm not
T,
saying that's the part
But
of
if you
you being
did
mean.
literally say it,
Maddie, you felt unheard. Is that what I'm?
I felt very unheard. Thank you, Arian.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing.
Can I say that?
When you said, what did you say? You said me.
You sometimes unnecessarily mean for no reason.
No. Before this, you explained it to me. She said me. I can't control something. I can control me being mean.
Well, she said I was mean, and then she's listing these things, and I said that's not really being mean, and she said, well, I was upset, and I said I can control if I'm being mean. I can't control you being upset at something that was like a tactical decision,
which is a funny thing to say.
It's
that will make her more upset.
Because what you're saying is true. What you're saying is accurate. I can control you.
If there's something I'm doing that is mean, I will try to not do that.
That is the breakdown of communication. The breakdown of communication is, I think Big T, this happens a lot. I see a lot of Big T online. It's actually him just being him, and people are like, what a fucking asshole. And I'm like, that's kind of like how he roll. I understand your intent is not to be an asshole. I know when you're being an asshole.
Agreed.
And I don't think he was being an asshole there, Maddie.
I thought there was a question.
I think if you express it in that way, Maddie, it'd be like, hey, look, I mean, listen, I feel a little unheard here. I think this is a pretty pro. I wouldn't call Big T a feminist, but he's not an asshole towards women, right? I would consider me an ally for women. I think if you express that amongst the group, we'll hold you there.
I think there is a question that was later in the round that was explicitly mean.
Let's
and you're referring to it was
yes, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. I think you're being a little mean.
I would agree.
I'm frustrated.
That's fair.
There was a question. It was three. It was like a put these things in order of date.
Okay.
And we didn't really know. We had an idea of which one was probably last. And then we were going to double sip it. And Madeline says, okay, I think it's ABC. And I said, I'm pretty sure it's like never been ABC in the whole show. Like he wouldn't put them in the order that they're in. And that's what upset you.
Well, you said, no, it's for sure not ABC. He would never do that. And I said, well, why not? And you said, because he would never put it in that order. And then I said,
which was,
do you have, okay, hold on. And I said, do you have a better answer? And you said no. So I said, okay, then do ABC. It was wrong. And then with our double sip, you said, okay, now let's actually figure out the real answer here, which you had. And then we got the answer right. But it's like, you don't have to be like, that felt just a little bit rude for no reason. Like, you can't be, but you didn't help. You didn't give an answer. So you can't say, well, you're wrong. And then also just give me nothing to work with.
Okay.
That's where I got frustrated.
That was a little bit rude for no reason. So
that was rude for
what
no
were
reason.
the
Thank
other
you.
4 things?
So I also felt unheard during the bonus round because it was named the top 30 chains that sell French fries. And I said Raising Cane's, and you did not take my answer, which was on the board.
I said, are there enough of those?
I gave that, and you didn't take my answer.
Madeline, I said, are there enough of those? And then somebody said 5 guys, and I said, yeah, let's do that one.
I did. I said 5 guys.
They were both correct.
Okay.
I don't think that's being mean.
I'm not saying that specifically. I'm just
well,
saying
you did.
that the build
you
up.
literally said.
The build up.
Hold on,
did
guys.
say.
Hold on. Well, I think we're at a 6. I think we could take it to a 3. You know,
I think
You're
that
saying you're not saying that. You did say. You said there were 5 times that I was mean. I don't think that's mean.
I think altogether you were being mean in that matter.
I'm hearing some meanness, but I'm hearing more.
What is some meanness?
I'm hearing more dismissiveness.
Thank you.
I think that
I don't agree with that at all.
I think that sometimes the dismission, if that's a word,
dismissal
comes across as
dismissal.
Dismissal comes across
kind of like dismission though. It makes sense.
I did too. Yeah, adopt it.
But I don't agree with that.
Thinking
that's
that her
dismissive.
answers are less than, what your answers
take
are.
I take answers from you
as
all
a member
the time.
of the team. May I say something?
Yes.
I think there's a power dynamic here when Big T is the captain, right? So like we kind of default to his answers. And so a lot of the times he's dismissive towards me as well. But I just don't take any kind of way because I don't feel like he's trying to be an asshole to me. Like I know Big T. And so a lot of times he's just like, no, fuck, I know better, which is a lot of times.
But I don't think there has ever been a question that I'm like, I don't know it. And y'all give me an answer. I'm like,
a lot of times,
don't
which is,
do
yeah,
that.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think you're very impartial when it comes to it. I don't think like if you know it, you're just trying to win. It has nothing to do with me trying to overpower you in an answer. You know what I'm saying? That's how I take it, which is why anytime you veto one of my answers, I'm like, all right, bet. Like how many times,
and even if y'all, if I
baseball,
think I might know it, and one of y'all is like, I'm for sure it's this, I go with that answer.
I do agree with that. Like the baseball question, I was like, yo, I'm feeling the other dude, and you went with your answer, and I was right. And I was like, well, I was right.
Well, but you said you just liked his name. It was a 50-50.
No, I'm with you here. But what I'm saying is, when you veto me, I don't never take it personally. Like I don't feel like you're trying to slight me. You know what I mean?
I'm not.
I agree, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like Madeline sometimes feels unheard in a group full of dudes, which I can understand. And I feel like maybe a conversation was warranted just to be like, hey, it's not a personal thing. Like operate. This is what I tell a lot of my baby mamas, right? Operate from the premise that I woke up today not trying to offend you or hurt your feelings.
Yes,
and
I think a lot of negative intent
is
being ascribed to me that does not exist.
Agree.
But I'm not saying, I'm just saying how it made me feel.
Yeah, she's not saying intent. She's saying
she ascribed intent.
I think
you were being mean for one of the questions that you just admitted.
That's true.
I said one of the things I said could certainly be construed as being a little mean, but not. You said 5 things.
I'm just saying all of those put together, it felt like a match where I was not being heard.
In the thing when we're going, I was just like, when you said ABC, I was like, well, it's never been ABC. So like we shouldn't guess ABC. That's all I was saying.
But you do that and then you don't give the team any other answer.
Well,
so
yeah,
it's like, well, then what else are we supposed to do?
And I knew we were going to do BAC after that. So I was like, oh, we'll go ahead and guess it.
Okay.
I feel like
I did the answer you gave. So it's in the, you were upset.
But you said I was explicitly wrong. And then
but if it was right, you would have been more upset if it was right. And we didn't guess it.
I think Mad Dog should get to be captain for a day.
She can be, trust me, after this season, she will be the captain of the team. I'm just saying, in the bonus round, you were mad that you said something I questioned. Are there enough of those? We came up with another answer. Both of them were right. And then in this one, you're mad that I went with what you said. You can't be mad about both. You can pick one.
Well, they're different questions. I can be mad about both.
No, you can't.
They're different scenarios.
You can choose to be mad if I go with your answer or don't.
Maybe I'm
you don't
the
get to
asshole
pick both.
excuse me, maybe not an asshole, but part of Big T's snarkiness is the lovable part of him, in my opinion. I kind of like that shit. It's funny to me.
Okay, and again, I am not mad at Big T anymore. Like,
it seems you might be.
Well, we're conjuring this up again. I'm mad about the situation. I am not mad at Big T as a person. I said this, I was upset after, and I said it though to people in my life. I said, Big T, I love him like a brother. He is like when you fight with your brother and you say you're so mean to each other and you fight, and then 15 minutes later you go down to dinner and you have your pork chops together.
You love him like a brother, you hate him like a brother.
Yeah, like Big T, and again, it's not just in the dozen. Sometimes, and I'm sure it goes both ways towards me. Sometimes Big T says things that I do not like on this show, whatever. I still care about Big T, and he is one of my favorite people. That is not up for question. It was one of those things where it felt like I was fighting with my brother, and then again, I walked in here on Monday morning for us to record, and I was like, hey, and I texted him about Love on the Spectrum the next day. It is not like I care about Big T any less. Like, I still love him. We fight, in my opinion, I feel like sometimes we fight like siblings because I care about him so much and we've known each other for so long, and we're sometimes in just this little echo chamber in this little studio. So sometimes I get extra mad at him like a brother, and then I go and I text you about Love on the Spectrum and Jellycats and, whatever.
Okay, I was not trying to be mean.
Thank you.
And I do think some of the things that you're upset about were not they're not personal attacks. We were playing a game.
I know, and that is on me because I take the dozen too seriously, and I can admit that about myself. I take the dozen too seriously.
I don't disagree with that.
Thank you.
Okay, so
that's how you problem solve, people.
Can we play the clip?
Yeah, this is the clip that the dozen posted.
Okay. College football. Are you doubling?
This is your shit.
Dude, they've been too hard.
Oh my God, we have to double something.
We can't double it.
Fine, we'll double it. We'll double it, Jeff.
Save it.
We'll double it, Jeff.
What else do you want to double?
We'll double it, Jeff.
Take it with you to the end. You get to keep it.
No, we can't.
You can keep it.
You get to
roll it over the next game. Roll it over.
Let him roll it over.
All right. Well, then we're doubling. We're doubling.
Big moment. This TCU receiver totaled over 2,200 yards from 2017 through 2019 before becoming an Eagles first-round pick.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Didn't want to double it.
You have nothing?
Not even a guess.
5.
I don't know. Pass.
Other side for a huge steal.
Go ahead, Ebo. I have one name in my head, and I have no idea why it's in my head, so it's probably not right.
The guy that went one pick before Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor.
That is a big steal. That's correct.
Hell yes,
Good double. Good double, boys.
Yep, good double.
Also, they were not helping.
Well, honestly, Big T, what would you want to fucking double besides that?
Something else.
We had 2 questions. We have 2 questions left.
Okay, I think part of what makes Mad Dog even angrier is when Big T gets calmer and calmer.
Yes.
The angrier she gets.
And he doesn't give an
We
answer.
all wanted to double it, and we doubled it, and I didn't. I said I might not know it.
Because I trust you. Also, and
Big T's
again, I'm going to say one more thing. When we get to those end questions, those 11s, the 12s, those can be those are anything is on the table. And so I don't count on us knowing in around 11 questions sometimes. Or around 12 questions.
We had been getting a lot of logos, which I was banking on.
Which we did not get.
Right. But the
TV, I happen to know. We never know TV usually. And then I got the snacks and candy wrong. So those 2, I'm just saying, we didn't know what was coming and we were getting towards the end of the game. And again, I trust you more than it seems you trust yourself to know college football. So I said, this may be our best chance for the rest of the match to use this double.
And that's fine.
I also get mad because you do get calmer and you do not match my energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I take the dozen too seriously. And again, I know that about myself. And I will not apologize for being passionate.
Okay. Well, that's that.
And I love Big T. And that's that. And I'm not mad at him. It's just sometimes I get frustrated.
All right. Well, that was Macrodosing for the week. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks to Uncle Chaps for joining us and talking about the Conclave and a lot of other stuff too. Next
just want to say I was the only asshole that was wearing a Pope costume or a Catholic costume. Y'all told me I was going to do it. It's all good.
I tried.
So you did.
She did try.
Yeah, we was all going to do it, and she left me out to dry.
I think you pulled it off though. This is like,
Yep.
I like that. You look like
producers.
Assassin's Creed right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of lit. Like when you see the whole joint, like when I stand up and shit, see, I got the little, let me see it. Boom.
Oh, wow.
That is
tassel
good.
tied
You
around
really
the
do
waist,
have
dog. I
it.
might wear it out today. Just like start blessing niggas.
All right, well, we will see you guys next week on Macrodosing. Love you guys.